This is the oldest golf clubhouse in the United States at Shinnecock Hills, New York, where the U.S. Open is returned for the first time in 90 years. It's about a mile from the Atlantic Ocean, but has many of the characteristics of a true seaside links. A British Open type, of course, weather and all. And weather we had for the first round. A real New England nor'easter blew in, winds gusting to 30 and 40 miles an hour, a driving rain that sometimes blew horizontally, a wind chill factor that seeped into the bones, but still the round was played. And it was Bob Tway, a young touring pro out of Oklahoma, winner of the Westchester tournament just last week, who held steady all the way, making this par putt on 18 for the only even par round of the day. He was an impressive leader. Round two was entirely different. A warm sun glinted off the blonde hair and shark white teeth of Australia's Greg Norman as he took command with shots like this one, which almost went in the hole going up and coming back. Norman shot 68 to take the lead by 3. But a familiar flamboyant figure was stalking the great white shark. Lee Trevino, twice winner of the title, most recently 15 years ago at Merion, checked in with this putt at the final hole. Lee also shot 68 and was paired with Norman for yesterday's third round. 31-year-old Norman against 46-year-old Trevino. Aussie against Tex-Mex. Quite a pairing. In the early going yesterday, Norman had a couple of chances to crumble, but he didn't. And then came this putt on the 8th hole for a birdie. Greg, who has been playing rock solid for many weeks now, was beginning to look like a winner with this one, like a man who might sprint away from the rest of the field. Until they came to the 13th hole, a par 4. Greg hit his only bad tee shot of the day into the long seaside rough on the right. An extremely firm shot was needed, and Greg hit it firm enough, all right. In fact, he caught it flush and sent it over the green and down the hill into some devilish berry bushes and long rough. This was the lie. And now there was an opening for Trevino in the mano-a-mano duel. He still trailed by 3, but if he could just... And as you'll see, he did. A near-perfect shot that ended up close enough for an easy birdie 3. The crowd roared for Lee. Then Norman had to play from the deep rough with a restricted backswing. He did as well as he could, but still the ball ran across the green and off into the short rough. It took 3 more to get down from there, and the 3-stroke lead had disappeared. Meanwhile, Hal Sutton, the former PGA champion, had caught fire. This putt on 17 was typical of his play on the back 9. He toured it in 31 strokes, had a record-tying 66 for the day, and tied Trevino for second when Lee bogeyed 18. So who will it be for the Open title? Will it be Hal Sutton, the athletic son of a wealthy Louisiana family, winner of the PGA at age 25? Or will it be Lee Trevino in this springtime of the senior citizen in sport? He would be the oldest Open champion by more than 3 years. Or will it be Greg Norman, the personable Australian who steeled himself against a hostile crowd yesterday to hold onto his lead? Or will it be someone else? Sudden swings can happen at Shinnecock Hills. James Poulos won the Open here 90 years ago when John Shippen, the first black in the Open, took an 11 on the 13th hole. It'll take talent, thought, and character to win on this course today. But then, that's what the Open is about, to identify the best all-round player of them all. ABC Sports and the United States Golf Association invite you to the playing of the final round of the 86th U.S. Open Golf Championship. It will take place on the rolling ground beneath the historic clubhouse at Shinnecock Hills, Southampton, New York. If anyone ever tells you that they have a little beach house in Southampton, don't believe them. There are no little beach houses in Southampton. Plenty of big ones, though, sitting on the shore of the Atlantic Ocean. This is where the very rich come in the summer to relax and contemplate their good fortune. And this is where some of them come for golf, to the oldest golf clubhouse in America at Shinnecock Hills. On a normal Sunday, a handful of members would be strolling the course in quiet isolation. But not this Sunday. This Sunday, Shinnecock is the scene of the final round of the U.S. Open. Yesterday, the mood was not what one would usually see here. The gallery shouted hoarsely for Lee Trevino. A few, regrettably, shouted against Greg Norman. A place that prides itself on being far from the madding throng had a few of the madding throng right on the premises. But the golf has been splendid. The competition to her man loved the course. All of the competitors like it. And the large majority of the spectators are having a mannerly, wonderful time. Shinnecock Hills in Southampton are out near the eastern tip of Long Island, New York, an island in the sea, really. And more specifically, the course lies between the Atlantic Ocean and Peconic Bay, a choice piece of real estate that has successfully resisted invasion for almost a century. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay reporting live, obviously, from Shinnecock Hills on an absolutely gorgeous day. You know, if the ghosts of William K. Vanderbilt and Andrew Mellon and the other barons of industry who were prominent in the early years of this club are looking down on this today, they must be wondering what in the world is happening and how did it come about. It's going to be a wonderfully exciting afternoon. The temperature is 83 degrees. There is a little bit of a breeze, not too much, not the usual Shinnecock wind, but they tell us that the wind is supposed to come up about 2 o'clock. And of course, there was about 2 minutes to go, so we could expect the wind possibly at any time. Now, the early scores today generally have been high and possibly higher even than yesterday, and yet one pairing came in just a little while ago, about 15 minutes ago, and they were really hot. It was Dave Eichelberger and Mark Calcavecchia. As they came to 18th, Dave Eichelberger was 4 under and would have a 66, but Calcavecchia was 5 under. He was 12 over for the championship when the day began, and this was the par putt for a 65 and a new course record at Shinnecock Hills, and he made it. Young Mark Calcavecchia of West Palm Beach, Florida, the record holder at Shinnecock. That alone will be something to carry with him for the rest of his career. Here's his card. Look at that. He birdied 3, 4, 6, bogeyed 8. The red, of course, being the birdies, the yellow being the bogey. And then he birdied 12, 13, and 14 in succession, and he's still not on the leaderboard, of course, because he started so far behind. None of the people without numbers beside the right-hand side of their name have started yet. That means, for example, Tom Watson has played 1 hole, and he's 4 over for the championship. Same for Ben Crenshaw. Lenny Clements, the same thing. As we look at the leaders, and as we said, there are a lot of the leaders still to get out there. Jack Nicklaus has played the first hole and has birdied it. And right now, I believe we're going to go down to Al Troutwig.
Jim, Lee Trevino's wife once told him, don't worry how old you are, because your golf clubs don't know how old you are. Truer words were never spoken, were they, Lee?
And if you look at those things, I'm glad those red covers have them covered up, because they look like they're throwbacks from the Goodwill, I'll tell you that.
Lee, what do you try to accomplish on the practice tee before a big round like this?
Nothing. I think it's just feel, trying to get the body working right. I think that most players come out to a practice tee and we have an A game, a B game, and a C game. And naturally we start trying with the A game. And if the swing is working with the A game, we go with it. If it's not, then we go to something else. But it's just feel. That's all it is.
For those people who will never have the joy of playing in a 4th round of a U.S. Open Golf Championship and being right in the middle of it, what's it like?
Well, it's probably the 8th wonder of the world as far as I'm concerned. I think that this is the greatest tournament in this country, and to win it, and I've had the pleasure of winning it twice, but it would really be a feather in my hat to win it 3 times. But it's very difficult to describe the feelings playing on the 4th day and being in contention on top of all that at the age of 46, because the scream of the crowd, I'm getting goosebumps here just talking about it. I can't wait to get out there.
The thing that I wanted to ask you about finally is the gallery yesterday. It affected, obviously, Greg for a short time. It may also play a factor with you today, in a positive sense, perhaps?
I never pay any attention to that, you know. I'm kind of loud and can scream myself, and I can understand. They get excited out there, and there's galleries out here that are biased to one player or the other, and Greg has got a lot of fans out here. I have a lot of fans out here, Nicklaus, Hal Sutton, Raymond Floyd, and everybody, and they just start cheering. It's like a football game. You cheer for one side and you boo the other side, but we're kind of not familiar with those surroundings, so I think that it kind of did upset some of the players yesterday.
Very quickly, significance to these colors? I seem to remember you being successful.
Oh, isn't that amazing? Yeah, I told my wife last night, for Jim Murray's benefit, all but the Red Sox.
Lee, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks very much. Okay.
Back to you, Jim McKay.
Okay, Al, of course, he wore the red and black a long time ago when he won his first Open. Jack Nicklaus now putting for a birdie on the first hole. This is on videotape. Remember, he started the day 6 over par, 6 shots out of the lead. Come on. Yeah! And he has 17 holes yet
this moment is 1 under for the day and within 5 shots of the lead. That's closer than he was with 5 holes to play in the Masters tournament this spring. So there it is. Once again, none of these people have started play as yet, so you'll be seeing all of them tee off on the first hole. Norman, Trevino, Sutton, Bob Tway, who led the first day, and the others. This is the 4th hole, a par 4, 408 yards. That's where Jack Nicklaus is playing right now. Leaders, remember, if you've just joined us, have not teed off as yet. We'll be seeing them. Meticulous, as always, same routine off the tee. Unhurried. The other day he was hitting every tee shot it seemed to the right, but not today. Not so far today. A perfect shot down the middle for Jack Nicklaus. Only one man, of course, has any chance for the Grand Slam this year that nobody has achieved. That would be the Masters champion, Nicklaus. There's Norman warming up. We'll be back.
From the Shinnecock Hills Golf Club in Southampton, New York, the 86th U.S. Open Golf Tournament. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Martin Marietta, masterminding tomorrow's technologies in aerospace and information systems. By De Beers, a diamond is forever. By Team Xerox, the right products and right people all working together. And by MCI, with worldwide voice and data services for home or office. MCI is communications for the next 100 years.
Just a little bit of a summer haze over Peconic Bay, where member Jack Whitaker, I should say, tells us those good Long Island scallops come from. Now, again, let's go down to Al Troutway.
Tim, thank you. I'm down on the practice tee with Greg Norman. Greg, I'm assuming that you have plenty of nervous energy this morning. Have you figured out in your years of playing golf how to channel that nervous energy into a successful round of golf?
Well, not really, Al. I think, you know, every player would be a liar if he didn't say he wasn't nervous, even no matter what tournament he's playing in. You just get, when you're in a chance to win the golf tournament, you just feel a little excited about getting out there and play it. But, you know, you just got to find, each player has his own different way. You know, sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't work. But I think just basically trying to keep calm and relaxed.
There's no way of saying whether what happened yesterday on 14 with the gallery will reoccur again today. Would you like to handle it in a different way, and are you prepared for that instance should it occur?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some people out there making comments again, but I think, you know, I dealt with it pretty good yesterday. Just at that one instant there, I had to get it off my chest, which I did do, and, you know, I hope it doesn't happen. I think we're all out here to play golf and just enjoy it, and the spectators, majority of them, want to enjoy the game, so let's just go out there and play it. If they do make some comment, I'll probably just turn a blind eye to it anyway.
Are you nervous?
Sure, I'm a little apprehensive. I want to get out there and play. I think once you're on the golf course, things disappear.
Okay. Thank you very much, Greg. Okay. Pete Bender, the caddy of Greg Norman, told me...
Okay, excuse me, Al. Let's pick up because we have Jack Nicklaus here on the 4th hole, 1 under for the day, approaching his second shot on the par 4. We were leaving here last night. I said, Jack, what do you need tomorrow? 65? So maybe one better.
Saying that Greg Norman's caddy Pete Bender told me that the reason he leaves the stick in so long in the hole when Greg putts is so that the gallery can see where the hole is. You remember that happened yesterday. Hal Sutton with me now. You'll be playing with Greg today. Perhaps that might mean that you'll be affected by some of the gallery remarks that were made to Greg in yesterday's round. Any thoughts about that?
No, not really. I'm just going to go out and try to ignore everything except the golf course and whatever shot I have at hand, and try to pay attention mostly to that.
Al, you know what it's like to play a big fourth round in a major at the PGA and come away a winner. Do you have the same type of feeling in your mind and body today that you had that great Sunday?
Well, I'm playing as well as I've ever played in my life, and all I can do is go out and give it my best. And if that leaves me on top, well, then that's great. And if it doesn't, well, then there was a guy that was better than me that week.
What types of things do you work on the practice tee before a round like this?
Just try to get loose and try to make sure I'm hitting the ball solidly and not get too tense or things like that.
Okay, is that happening?
I feel good.
Okay, thank you, Hal. Jim McKay?
So Sutton says, I'm going to try to ignore everything except the golf course. And Greg Norman says, apprehensive, sure, I'm a little scared before I go out there. Lee Trevino says, I just can't wait to get out there and play. And yet many of them, or all of them perhaps, were saying the same thing in reality, that you have to have a few butterflies before the last round of the Open, and it has caught many people. Okay, and here now is a resident expert on the sport, former PGA champion, former captain of the Ryder Cup team, in fact, Dave Marr. Well, you know, many times through the years when I've said to you, and when somebody's starting to come apart on the final round, you know, what's causing this? You always say 3 words, United States Open. And go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say, when you take a United States Open at a course like Shinnecock Hills, you've got about all the pressure you need.
Any of those things can happen. Of course, those things we just watched, nightmares are made of those things. Shinnecock Hills, when it was announced the Open was going to be here some years ago, I'm sure most of the professionals and probably a lot of golfers in the country had never heard of this place. The people out here wondered, well, can they handle it? Is the golf course good enough? Where are they going to put the crowds? Where are the people going to stay? Because they're not used to this many people being here at one particular time. Well, I'd like to say they've all done a fine job. The different town officials, the traffic control, which a lot of people were afraid of. The golf course has stood up just terrifically, and Shinnecock has been all that I had hoped it would be. And I hope they don't wait 90 more years to have an Open out here. I'd like to see another one out here. And to talk a little bit about the scoring on the golf course, which some people said, oh, that's a short golf course. They'll shoot 20 under par out there as good as these players are. Well, throw out Thursday, which was the bad day. Now, Friday and Saturday had 2 perfect days to play, and if that was the lowest scores shot were by Hal Sutton and Joey Sindelar, and they shot 136 for those 2 days. So the golf course has stood the test of time, and the members out here ought to be very proud of what they've done, and the USGA, I think, should get some applause for even having the courage to come out here and have a golf tournament.
And as of now, there isn't one player in this championship who is under par.
That's right, and it may not be at evening time either.
Okay, the reasons for that, we might contemplate some of those reasons.
It's a beautiful, well-done U.S. Open golf course. A lot of the players have said it's a British Open look, as you can see when you look down from the clubhouse, but the U.S. Open is being held there. It's really a breathtaking golf course and so different from what we usually play in this country, what the British call park golf.
It's so deceiving because it looks wide open.
Well, it does, and the fairways are 28 to 30 yards wide, and they're in very good condition. Peter Smith, the green superintendent, has done a marvelous job here. And then you look at the first cut of rough, which is 4 feet wide and is 2 inches deep. Now, a player can play out of here and get up on the green or near the green. It's quite a different matter if you get into the second cut of rough, which is at least 4 inches deep. Now, from here, a player has to make a decision whether to go for the green, whether to go ahead and take the penalty shot. And if you miss that and you're outside of that, you get into the Shinnecock rough that the members are familiar with. Now, this isn't so bad because it's a lot drier. You've just got to watch that those weeds there don't get around your club. And you've got some problems up near a lot of these greens. Unlike a British Open course, you've got a number of trees up by the greens and shrubs. We saw Greg Norman over 13 yesterday. If his ball had gone back 5 more feet, this is the kind of area he would have been in. Now, this ball would have been unplayable, and in some cases, you might even lose it. 7th hole, one of the great par 3s here, the Redan hole, it's called. This is after a famous golf hole at North Berwick, Scotland. Severe slope on the green from right to left. The left-hand bunker definitely in play if you don't use the proper club. And it's just a unique hole in the sense that they don't build golf holes like this anymore. Again, when you play a British Open type course or a links type course, there's not a lot of definition on where to aim, so you have to pick out something like the right-hand chimney of the clubhouse at number 9, the left-hand chimney maybe when you're playing 18. Something to refer to when you try to drive. Now, we'll take a look at the first few holes here at Shinnecock. The first tee, it's a really, you think an easy or generous hole to get away from, to start out with, a slight dog leg to the right. Problem here is, I feel, aiming the ball. You're up high, and it's more difficult to aim when you're up high, and the wind's blowing left to right, so it's blowing you toward the two bunkers down there in the fairway. Second hole, great par 3, but it's downwind, so it won't play 226 yards. You'll see the players using 2, 3, 4, 5 irons, depending on the strength of the wind. 3, again, you're downwind. You've got to avoid the left-hand side in the trees. That, in turn, brings the bunkers on the right side of the fairway in play. Great hole. 4th hole against the wind, where we just saw Nicklaus a moment ago, dogleg right. It plays about the same length because it's going back into the wind.
We're on the second tee right now with a live shot of Payne Stewart. He who is so easily recognizable in the knickers. He birdied the first hole, as did Jack Nicklaus. Payne Stewart now at just 2 over. Just 2 shots out of the lead.
He quietly sneaks in there. What a good player this young man is.
Well, very nearly won the British Open last year. Royal St. George's.
Just as soon as I said what a good player, he put it left of the trouble.
Well, you said that was a very difficult hole, the second.
So when you're downwind, if you start the ball, it's going to stay in that position. If you pull it, as he did, it's going to stay there. It's not going to come back.
Let's go back at his round to the first hole. He's playing the second, of course. This was the birdie putt on the first hole. Downhill, wide open. And if you get up there, this is what you can earn yourself. So Stewart has played himself very quickly into tight contention. His playing partner of the day, his fellow competitor, Ray Floyd. Floyd at 3 over after 1 hole today. 3 over for the championship, of course.
This is 22nd.
22nd, that's right. Payne Stewart just in a couple of U.S. Opens, but he's made his mark very quickly in the game. Again, Norman Trevino and Sutton have not teed off as yet, neither has Bob Tway, but you see Stewart has moved among them with that birdie at the first hole. Bernhard Langer, you see there, and Ray Floyd, they're out on the course. Reed and McCumber haven't started. Dennis Watson still hanging in there very well. Jack Nicklaus just 5 shots out at the moment, as is Lanny Watkins and Scott Verplank playing his first professional tournament, and Chip Beck, who got into it with a fine round yesterday, and Lenny Clements, who went out in 30 strokes on the first 9 yesterday. Bobby Watkins, brother of Lanny, tied with his brother. All sorts of interesting situations here at Shinnecock. Just a moment ago, this was Mark McCumber. Remember, he hurt his back yesterday, but what did he say to you this morning, Dave?
He said it was just a quick little twinge, he said. It went away, and he feels okay now.
Okay, good. Well, here's his second shot to the first hole. Oh, my goodness. It was a moment ago, but we hadn't seen it before. Nothing wrong with that. Lots of birdies on the first hole. Nicklaus and Payne Stewart, and now possibly Mark McCumber, as we take a wide view and zoom in on the oldest golf clubhouse in the country. Has been altered twice, but the second addition took place 73 years ago. Now, we're going to go from the first green back up the hill. It's quite sharply downhill on the first hole. Makes it look so easy. As we go to McCumber with his attempt at a birdie. And that was within 2. And so we have Norman leading by 1 over Sutton and Trevino. They haven't teed off yet. By 2 over Bob Tway, who hasn't teed off yet. Payne Stewart, and now Mark McCumber. Ooh, it's getting tight and things are hardly underway among the leaders. It's just some of the gallery, and there are big galleries everywhere as we come back up the hill to the first tee, where the next pairing.
Special observer is Graham Simmers, Deputy Chairman of the Championship Committee of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club, St. Andrews, Scotland.
That's Ron Reed of USGA, the official starter, speaking.
The players are Bob Tway of Edmond, Oklahoma, and Lee Trevino of Dallas, Texas.
Texas OU.
Lee's fleas are out in force again.
Play away, please.
I guess you pointed out yesterday at the U.S. Open, they don't say Lee Trevino, winner of 2 U.S. Opens, 2 Brit. None of that, just Lee Trevino of Dallas, Texas. You are here, sir. Play away.
Hello.
Tway playing first. He's 2 behind.
Okay, fine drive. Before someone corrects me, I said Texas OU, but Tway went to Oklahoma
Lee
State. He's
Trevino.
one of the good players from there.
A lot of good players out of Oklahoma State.
Sir.
Scott Verflank, ball. Shot off the lead. He bogeyed 18 yesterday. Never wastes any time. And he rolls about 5 yards past his fellow competitor.
Take that, tall, slim kid.
That's right. On the 5th hole now, Jack Nicklaus. This is the only par 5 on the front 9. 3rd shot.
There's only 2 of them here. 16th and the 5th hole. This one downwind. Should see some birdies here today and maybe an eagle or 2.
Like to be a bit closer than that for his birdie attempt. How could that happen?
Well,
Every golfer in the world always feels that way. Let's take a look at the pairings quickly. Excuse me, Dave. You see Stewart and Floyd playing together, Reed and McCumber, Trevino and Tway, and yet to tee off, Norman and Sutton. The number there is which hole they're on at this moment, and the tee time is at the bottom for Norman and Sutton. So that's just in about 5-6 minutes. Now McCumber on the 2nd tee. This is the difficult par 3, remember, 220 yards. 26, if you want to be precise.
Oh,
What? He kind of reached around. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, because the ball went over the green, but still, it might have been his back. Can't. Here it is.
Well, it looks all right to me. He made a nice full turn there. It doesn't look like a man that's hurt. Club in good position at the top.
But coming down might have been.
Club looked like it pointed right down the line where you want to go. Moved back through. Got his left heel, whoops, a little off the ground. Maybe the left knee a little straight for purists. Maybe he just didn't like the way it started.
He certainly made an exclamation as it left the club head. Now Nicklaus. Now he has a birdie opportunity. Not an easy one, but an opportunity. That would move him within 4 shots of the lead.
He's got to be thinking, as he told you, 65 or 64. And as each hole goes by and he's just making pars, that's not good enough. And this is maybe the one hole on the front 9 where you have a very good chance for birdie. He's got to get out at 33 at the highest, I would say. So he knows, you know, here's your chance to get 2 under, then maybe you can birdie 8, and then you got to try to par 9.
That's right.
And try to par 10, and then maybe you can make some birdies from there on. Very difficult course, not a lot of birdie holes.
Back on the first tee, the leader in the championship. You must have heard a couple of those roars by now. Greg Norman. We've gotten to know him pretty well 2 years ago in the Open and now this year. But he's a man with many dimensions, some of which we might explore right now. Golf, a game that has not lost the sportsmanship with which it began. You very seldom see bad behavior out there. Certainly not from Greg Norman.
ladies and gentlemen, the referee with the final pairing, Bill Williams, President of the United States Golf Association. The observer is Billy Joe Patton, a member of the USGA Executive Committee. The special observer is Colin McLean, captain of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club, St. Andrews, Scotland. The players in the final pairing are Hal Sutton of Shreveport, Louisiana, and Greg Norman of Queensland, Australia. Mr. Sutton has the honor. Play away, please.
The butterflies have not stilled at this point, I should think.
I'm sure they haven't, Jim. No matter how much you've played, it's quite a feeling to stand here. A lot of thoughts go through your mind. Now you got to get your mind on your business, hit a good drive, and get the butterflies out.
Oh, yeah. And we heard, oh, yes, from a galleryite. And with good reason. Fine shot. Back up the hill. Tee again. There's his previous scores. That's the halyards of that flag hitting the pole that you hear. Full determination on that face.
Oh, there will be all day, too. He's a tough competitor. And just ripped it right by Hal there. And Hal is not a short hitter.
On tape now, Trevino on the first fairway with his second shot. Remember, there have been several birdies here already today. He's got his shot at it. 4 out of the last 6 players. Birdie number 1. Here is Trevino's putt. That could pull him even. And it did. Now even with Greg Norman. They're both 1 shot ahead of Sutton and Bob Tway. 2 shots ahead of Payne Stewart, Mark McCumber, and Ben Crenshaw. Bob Tway also birdied the first hole. That's how he got within 1.
This man has really come on this year. He's won 2 tournaments, plays with a lot of confidence. The greens are starting to firm up a little bit, and of course, as that's downwind there, and you don't get as much spin on the ball when it's downwind. So it's a little quick from the front to the back there, as Shinnecock should be.
Dave, this hole is uphill, and it's a long shot going uphill downwind, so you're not going to get the ball to stop as quickly on a green like this.
There's the voice of Ed Snead out on the fairway. Now Trevino, live shot, teeing off on the second hole.
Hey, baby. Swing now. Be right, baby.
Be right, baby, you said, and baby looks pretty good. Tied for the lead. Herman Mitchell trudging along with his man. It's his caddy. The Rovers today. Judy Rankin is with Floyd and Stewart. Ed Snead with the Trevino pairing with Tway. Bob Rossi with Norman and Sutton, the last group. And there should be some action out of those 3 pairings. There's the crowd beginning to stream along the fairways. Attendance actually limited to 19,000, so that everybody will have a shot at seeing something here and getting a place to park, which everybody has. So that when somebody says, well, here's Tom Watson for a birdie up on 5. Oh, I'll tell you, we're going to see some light shot out here today.
Right, Fanley. I mean, he played all day yesterday, 17 pars and a birdie. I mean, you got to think Tom Watson's going to make a birdie somewhere.
So he moves within 3 shots of the lead. Watson within 3. Nicklaus within 4. And those others up front. Ray Floyd's within 3. Bernhard Langer's within 3.
Jim, what you say about you're going to see a lot of good scores today. Some days the field plays well. Yeah. I mean, they see that people are shooting 65, 67, 68. The first hole has to be as easy as it can be with the pin in the short right there, which players just of this caliber just eat up. It's just a short iron in there. Rossi, about how long a shot does Hal Sutton have?
He only has a shot of about 85 yards, probably a sandwich, David, going straight downwind.
And is the wind coming up, Russ?
Wind is blowing, yes. Jack Whitaker was correct when he said it was going to come up around 2 o'clock. It really has.
Come on.
Now he's got his shot of the bird.
I wanted to say, too, with Sutton hitting a good drive off the first hole, and with Greg Norman being the competitor he is, you know, that'll make him concentrate. Remember, yesterday, Lee put it in the left rough, so, you know, Hal says, Greg says, I don't want to do that, and he missed his drive out to the right and got the right rough. Good shots help players. Good shots by other players. You can watch and see how the wind affects it. Bounce. Misjudged just a touch there. He needed to carry the ball on the green.
So the battle is joined. Everybody's on the golf course now, and it has begun to tighten already. There is how they stand in the U.S. Open. We're at Shinnecock Hills, and the wind is up. There, the standings still the same at the moment. While we have a moment here, let's use it to meet two more members of our basic commentary team here. Not until we get this play of Payne Stewart. Remember, he birdied 1, he parred 2, and on the 3rd green he makes another birdie. So he starts off 3, 3, 3. He's gained 2 strokes against par. He is only 1 shot out of the lead. Now back to the first green, and this is Sutton's attempt for a birdie. So on the first day here, people had putts like this for a par all the time.
That's right.
In the wind and the rain.
Get in there, come on.
So Hal Sutton makes it a 3-way tie for the lead, for the moment at least. Norman, Trevino, and Sutton. It's kind of tension you're supposed to have along about the 16th hole, not on the first.
Yeah, but this is what it's all about. And you've got so many good players that have a chance here with Crenshaw and Stewart and Tway and Sutton and Trevino and Norman. I mean, that's pretty hard all-star cast to. You can't pick many better players than that. He dresses this in the toe a little bit. If you watch his stroke, he then hits it in the center. A little loop in his swing a little bit, but it works.
That was for the par, so it remains 3-way tie for the lead. Lee Trevino, Greg Norman, and Hal Sutton, 1 ahead of Payne Stewart and Bob Tway. Said earlier, let's meet 2 other members of our team. One of them, Jack Whitaker, a member at Shinnecock Hills. Jack?
Thank you very much, Jim. Peter, I would say that the Shinnecock Hills Golf Course has done its job. When this 4th round started this morning, the leader was at even par, and 14 players were within 4 shots of that lead.
Yes, I'm still amazed that there are people saying that, you know, the players are warming up now and they're going to take the heart out of this course. We've had 66s scored. Of course, that's 4 under par, a very strict par of 70. But I said yesterday that I thought this was a rediscovered gem of a course. It's similar in many ways to some of the courses, championship courses in Britain, but in other ways it's entirely different. Tom Watson made the point that the greens do hold, at least 70 or 80% of them really hold, and the ball spins back, so others bounce through a little bit. The fairways are soft. All in all, I think the course has stood the test of time very well indeed. And as you said, when play began, there were 14 players within 4 strokes. It's going to be a very tight day's play indeed. I can't see anybody more than 4 strokes winning. Nicklaus and Ballesteros are quite capable of doing 64s, but that's what they would have to do to finish in level par, and I don't think level par is going to be far away from taking this championship.
Well, let's find out. Let's return you now to this golf course and the golf action.
And level par is what the leaders have. 3 of them now, including this gentleman. 2nd tee. Uphill downwind.
Give me a bad kick to the
And just off at the back. As we've seen already, it is kind of hard to hold this green.
Well, Ed Snead pointed out, uphill and downwind. Playing a long iron, you don't get as much spin on a long iron.
Now, Norman.
Now, here's a man that hits the ball high. He might have a chance, Jack, to stop it a little quicker than Hal did in a couple of the other shots that we saw.
Thin left back.
Player start walking like that, he likes it.
Can't hit it any better than that.
Which is the exact opposite putting. If you see a player start walking, he's missed it.
Ben Crenshaw has come to +2. If he should win here, it would be rather a romantic, sentimental victory, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. Little devil.
Raymond Floyd now. The 4th. Judy, you out there?
Jack, I'm here. I've seen some pretty good golf already.
No, I bet. How far is Raymond there?
He's got a shot of about 140 yards right into the wind. Imagine 7-iron, maybe 8-iron.
Taking it out to the right.
Looks good from here.
Right.
Came down as softly as talcum powder on a baby, didn't it? Huh? 3 little bounces and... Now we have a dramatic moment here at Shinnecock. Crenshaw at the 5th for an eagle.
It's all right.
That's all right is right. Is that left for a birdie to go to 1 over? As we look at 2 of the 3 leaders. Hal Sutton and Norman walking up to the 2nd green. This isn't supposed to happen till the back 9 on Sunday afternoon, is it?
Not usually, but these guys inspiring each other in a sense, Jack.
You bet. Trevino, the other leader. 2nd green. There is the scoreboard. Trevino, Norman, Sutton. And right behind, Stewart and Tway, and then Crenshaw, McCumber. And here's Crenshaw attempting to leave the group at +2. One shot. The 3rd straight birdie for Ben Crenshaw. Hal Sutton. Rossi, is he, well, he's not going to putt it, huh?
I couldn't tell what club he took out of the bag there, Jack. Well, he's chipping it there a little bit. I think that's the proper thing. The ball looks like it's sitting down. You wouldn't want to try to putt that ball. Maybe he's got an 8-iron or something. He'll just pop it through there. Very nice touch. The longer I'm away from playing, Jack, the more I appreciate what these guys can do. I mean, I'd be so nervous trying to do that. This man's putting for another birdie. Long putt, though.
Yeah. 3-3-3. Make a lot of money in baseball with 333.
That's right. At 3, he made it 2. If you remember, he was to the left of the green. That must have been some 3 made there, up and down. But of all the players last year that played in the 4 majors, this man had the best average, though he didn't win one. Finished 2nd at the British Open.
It's Norman on the left at the 2nd green for birdie, and Wayne Stewart on the right. Here's Haynes' ball on the way. He'll be a little shy. Still some work to do.
That caddy would sure bother me doing that. I don't care if he's doing it for the gallery or what. Putt by the hole into his footprints there, even though the greens are firm. I don't believe I'd like that too much, Jack.
That flag gets stuck, it's all over.
I'd be
You've
running.
got time to recover.
Well, he doesn't have it all the way in. At least he's got it out some, but I really wouldn't want him around the hole quite that long.
Norman for par.
Just watch him hit this in the center now. He addresses it in the toe somewhat, and then makes a little loop. But that's his way of doing it.
Par for Norman to remain at even. And Stewart for par to remain one behind. Nasty little putt.
This is about the length of the birdies that we saw him make at 1 and 3.
Oh, okay. Used it all, though, didn't he?
That's cool there. That could change the whole round if he got up and 3-putted that one.
Absolutely. Sutton now for par 2. And things remain the same. Trevino, Sutton, and Norman. 5 to the lead at even par. Now Mark McCumber at the 3rd. This is for birdie. Mark has gone out. Already has 2 birdies, and this would be for a share of the lead. It would be for a share of the lead. Well, let the record show that at 3 o'clock on the final round of the U.S. Open in 1986, I'm sorry, McCumber Wuzu. +1, I'm sorry. And we still have 3 leaders.
Barely. There's 4 other sharks lurking back there, Jack.
Okay, 3 leaders, even par, and we'll be back with the rest of the final round in just a moment.
Well, that's how the clubhouse looked in 1892, when gin and tonics were a lot cheaper and perhaps hamburgers hadn't even been invented. And that's how it is today. Still that quiet charm and elegance, a little bit more hustle and bustle. And out on the course, great deeds already are being done. Trevino, though, has this to stay level par. Now you can see that it was left all the way. The wind is definitely getting up. Tide changes around about 5:30, but seems to be getting up a little bit early. 18th green, past champion. Here's Fuzzy Zoeller coming down the hill, putting for a birdie on the last green. It's not hard enough. Fuzzy 2 under today, so he'll finish, and that goes in. 8 over, 288. Opposite 7 to 2, round of 68, and that's the 5th player out of 28 that have finished so far. 6th player that has broken par today. The defending champion Andy North finished with a 75, total of 302. Dave Eichelberger and Mark Calcavecchia, a superb round from Mark, 65, which is a new course record. That's the leaderboard as it stands at the moment. David Frost from South Africa, 67. Andy Bean, 68 to finish with. Don Pooley and now Fuzzy Zoeller, I should say. Now, let's go out to Hal Sutton. Hal Sutton, joint leader now with Greg Norman at level par. 3rd hole, and how's it look out there, Rossi?
Doesn't have too bad a lie, considering he's in that thick rough, but the ball is lying down a little, but the grass is going toward the hole, the grain of the grass, so it won't grab the club quite so badly. About 150 yards with an 8-iron.
453 yards, the length of this hole, so you can tell the strength of the wind. Oh, what a good shot. Got some backspin on it, too.
Beautiful shot.
Lovely shot, and no more than 18 feet from the hole. A real chance for a birdie.
Norman has driven it down here about 125 or 30 yards from the green. Hit a tremendous drive.
Well, we thought it was going to get very tight over this 18 holes, and many players made a good start. Ballesteros opened up with a birdie, so did Langer, but Seve's given it back again. He's now 2 over par after 7, 8 over for the championship, and he's had 2 birdies in that, so untidy play from him, but not so from Bernard Langer, who's going along very smoothly indeed, as is Mark McCumber. But here's the man that hasn't been far away from the top of the leaderboard for 3 days. Greg Norman just pitching one up to the 3rd green.
Lost it a little right.
Ooh, unlucky, it's spun away. Look at that going. That's the luck of the draw, isn't it? Just falls off the green. If that had kicked the other way.
Caught it a little thin, Peter. I think that's the reason it had so much spin on it.
Well, he's just off the green, as you can see, but not far. Not all that far from the hole. What a battle it's going to be today for these great players. As you look at the leaderboard there, who would you put your money on? Great to see Ben Crenshaw tiptoeing up the leaderboard. Dave Marr and Jim were saying how well Payne Stewart played at all the majors last year, and these players by no means out of it. Jack Nicklaus has just dropped a stroke at the 7th, and here's Mark McCumber, but he was playing along very well indeed. This is the 4th hole. It's a bit fierce. Mark McCumber made a great start, birdied the 1st and the 3rd. So now just 1 behind, tied with Trevino and Bob Tway, and of course Ben Crenshaw. Back to the 3rd, and it'll be Greg Norman to play first.
Not behind him. I told you 30 times yesterday. All the guys, over here. Over here, okay? On this side of the block.
And I wonder how many of these players will look back tonight at the chances they had, shots that just slipped away, bits of bad luck, strokes of good fortune. It'll be all there. Now Greg Norman, will this be 3rd time lucky for him? He's had 2 opportunities to win majors, the US Open and the Masters, of course. But you need something like this to go in. You need the odd long putt or good break. He's certainly taken a long time looking over this one. But still he looks. Greg Norman for a birdie 3. Very fierce, barreled it at the hole. Well, he had a spot of trouble with some rather noisy characters in the gallery yesterday. When he finished play, we asked him about it.
Yeah, sometimes I think I'm either at a hockey match or a football match or something. I mean, they just, there's no reason for some of the comments they say out there. I think they just, the trouble is, in the whole deal anywhere in the world, the minority screws it up for the majority. And, there are a lot of, 16,000 people out there, and there's probably 200 who are making it unfair for the rest of them. And as Lee said on, I think it was 15, Lee, he said, don't yell so much because somebody beside you may not like it, which is true. So, unfortunately, they're here, and we've got to put up with it.
Now, Hal Sutton with a putt that would take him into the championship lead. This for a 3. Easy to touch that putt. Very fast putt down and across the green. A little tentative. a safe par, and Al Sutton remains even after 3. Here's Lee Trevino, second, fourth. 408 yards. Ed?
Peter, he's hit right at the pin. He had about 160 yards. It looks like he took about a 6-iron and kept it down into that wind and put a good shot up there by the hole.
There's a great feeling of excitement out on the course, isn't there? There's some terrific play early on.
Well, Peter, it's unbelievable. You can hear people talking about it. They don't know who to follow. They're jumping from one group to another, and it's really exciting.
Well, we go to the 6th, and Ben Crenshaw with a putt for a birdie that would put him up at the top of the leaderboard. There he goes. At this moment, 3 players tied. That is, of course, if Greg Norman can hold this. It went the same way as Al Sutton's. Well, a huge drive. Only a wedge to the green. That's how they slip away. Now he's got to put that in the back of his mind, and that's not easy. To have dropped a stroke like that from the position he was in from the tee is not good for your scorecard or for your temper. So look at that. What a turnaround in the first few holes of this final round of this year's championship. And remember, these players are all there with a chance. They only need to have a good run. Calcavecchia with the record round today, 65. Andy Bean, a 68. Now the 4th hole, 408 yards. You can see the bunkers up the right-hand side of the fairway, and some left and right of the green. Some very good par 4s here at Shinnecock. Very testing, and the key, as many of the players have said, is getting the ball on the fairway. Get your tee shots in the right place, you've got a chance. So now Hal Sutton leads the way. Co-leader with Ben Crenshaw, who's 3 holes ahead.
Hold on, darling.
Has he knocked that left? As if he had, yes. Oh, that nestles too. That's real broccoli in there. Not an easy hole, this 4th. I think 4th, this little corner, 4, 5, 6, although the 5th is a par 5, not much is spoken about these 3 holes, but if you can get through here with 3 4s, my word, you're pleased with yourself. The hole swings around left to right as we look behind Greg Norman. Bunkers all down the right.
Go Norman, yeah!
Oh, he really does crunch that ball, and that's
tremendously long, Peter, and
lovely.
Beautiful, just perfect.
Well, the crowd still seem a little vocal out there, Bob.
Well, yes, but not quite like yesterday.
Good for that. Here's ahead at the 5th.
What's wrong?
Payne Stewart, who's just 1 behind the leaders. Long putt here, but it's for an eagle. This, of course, if it went in, would put him into the lead. Haven't got the next one yet. Attack and defend, attack and defend. Ben Crenshaw's missed the green at the 7th. It's very tricky par 3, and this is not a very easy chip at all. He's got to get it up up, and the green has quite a slope on it. It's very fast. Going to try and float this one up and over the top. Doesn't look to be a bad lie. Bob Tway at the 4th. This is well, he should stay at 1 over. Back to Crenshaw. Now he's just trying to get a mental picture of this shot. Very awkward. Doesn't look to have a bad lie at all. Now he'll lay the face of the club way open. And just watch the length of swing here and the pace of the swing. He's going to try and imagine he's just playing a little underhanded lob up in the air. Can he do it? Bladed the bottom of it, but he got a bit of check on it. He was rather fortunate there. That might have pitched in the bank and killed it a bit. Perhaps it wasn't lying quite as soft as it appeared. The 5th. Floyd for a birdie. This would take him to just 1 off the pace. It'd be nice if Raymond could win, because he's been around a long time. He deserves an Open. He's won the PGA and the Masters, of course. He'd wear an Open mantle well. Just wandered off. I wonder why. Short of pace, I guess. Payne Stewart. Remember, he had a long putt for an eagle 3. The 4th. That looked to have settled down.
That was really deep, and he's hooked it left, way left. Catches the front of the bunker.
Yes,
have a tremendously hard bunker shot, Peter. A bunker shot of maybe 120 or 30 feet.
Yes, and he's gone into the back edge of the bunker, so it could well be on a downslope. So a chance for Norman here to steady himself. One nice, clean shot onto the green. What club would they be playing here, Bob, and where's the wind coming from?
They're playing right into the wind. I would think Norman at about 125 or 30 yards would play just a normal 8-iron. I don't think he'll try and jump on a 9 right here.
Well, that looks a fairly square club. It's like a little 7-iron or something. I don't know, sir.
He might be trying to knock a little something down. The wind has come up a little stronger.
See, he's gripping down the shaft. You can see an inch or so of shaft above his left hand. He's still not settled, still not sure. Still not able to visualize the shot, the ball moving towards the flag. Yeah, a little punch in there. Has he pulled that, Bob? How's it looking?
Yes, that's over to the left-hand side of the green. Not very good for caliber of Greg Norman. I think he just tried to hit it too easy. I really think he had too much club.
Yeah, it looked as if he tried to chip it in there. Now, the 8th. The cameras are moved up, and we've picked up Jack Nicklaus playing the 8th hole. That's the view. That's a good shot. Jack 5 over after 8. Just a bit unlucky not to have come back off the edge of the green there. That's Jack's figures. Opened with a nice birdie at the first. Chance of another one at the second. You can see he had a birdie at the 5th. Going along pretty nicely. But it's Hal Sutton and Payne Stewart leading the way, but some big names chasing hard behind. We'll take a break.
We're back at the U.S. Open, where 7 players are within 1 shot of each other for the lead. Mark McCumber on the 5th hole. McCumber is one of those. He's 1 shot behind the leaders.
Can obviously reach the green here. That's par 5 downwind.
He'll have that putt for an eagle that could move him into the lead. Indeed. Now that was on tape. Now here he is putting for the lead. Had a bad back yesterday. Must not be bothering him because his sense of humor is still there, but that ties him for the lead. That birdie putt ties him with Hal Sutton and Payne Stewart. Let's go over to Jack Whitaker now for an update.
Well, thank you, Jim. I don't know what to update here. Things are changing faster than a politician's mind. We knew at the outset today, before the leaders went off, that with 14 people within 4 shots of each other, there were going to be some dramatics. And I think the first signal flare went up when Mark Calcavecchia came in with a 65, a course record. That seemed to indicate that the course was playing as vulnerable as it might. And Nicklaus started with a birdie at 1. And then everybody seemed to get the idea that they could do that. Hal Sutton birdied 1. Mark McCumber birdied 1. And for a while we had 3 leaders in Norman and Trevino, and then that changed. Hal Sutton joined them. Then Trevino dropped out, then Norman dropped out, and tiptoeing his way up came Ben Crenshaw with 4 straight birdies on the front 9, and that is awesome. He gave 1 back at 7, but he's still very much in there. And as you've just seen, Mark McCumber now has joined the leaders at even par. And this is going to get more dramatic and intense when they hit the back 9. So we have plenty of great golf for you. Let's get back to it.
Okay, Jack. Dave, you know, the intensity of the golf that Jack mentioned on the back 9 may be different on the front, because the front is where you have to seize this course if you're going to do it at all, isn't it?
That's historically this week, that's the way it's been. The back 9 has caught a lot of people. Seems to be about a stroke or 2 tougher. This is a few moments ago. Hal Sutton at the 4th hole, and that's a very good shot out of that bunker.
But he leaves himself that for the par.
Yeah, dangerous shot there. It looked like it was a little downhill, but he needs this for the par.
Yep. Doesn't get it, so the bogey drops him to 1 over, leaving Payne Stewart and Mark McCumber tied for the lead. It is ebbing and flowing and anything you want to name. So here is the co-leader, Payne Stewart.
That's at the 6th hole. That's his 2nd shot. This is a great par 4 here. I'm sorry. He must have driven in the rough and played out short, because there is a lake down there. So he's on in 3, but it just shows you, Hal Sutton's bogey at 4 came from a bad tee shot. Payne Stewart hit a bad shot at 6 and had to lay up. Now he's on in 3, putting for a par.
Opportunity for Lee Trevino, who has fallen 1 shot out of the lead, but here he is on the par 5, reachable in 2.
Got about 265 yards, Jim.
I could hear Mitch saying cut.
It's on the left side of the green.
Pretty good poke then, 265 yards. Kick it down to 2 for birdie. He'll move into a tie. Unless things change in the meantime.
Oh, boy.
Everything you could hope for in a U.S. Open championship. A glorious, beautiful summer day, but the wind up to be a factor. Now Ben Crenshaw, who birdied 4 in a row, then bogeyed 7.
There's no reason to get excited about that bogey, Jim. That's a good, tough par 3, and he's got a chance here now with a good 2nd shot. Hit a good drive down the fairway.
You can see there in the upper left-hand corner, it's not a long par 4. Tough kick there. Ben Crenshaw looking very strong out there today, however. We talked to him a little bit earlier about his physical condition.
Well, I've had a hard bout with my health. I've have felt very poorly over the last year. I've had a hyperactive thyroid, and I've taken medication for a long time, since January, and I'm just starting to feel well. I didn't have any strength last year at all. It's conditioned such that you don't have any strength and you get nervous. I lost a lot of weight because of it, and it's stress related, but I didn't know what was happening to me, and I finally got it figured out. But it takes a while. But I feel good about my game, and I'm hitting the ball pretty well, and I was happy to play well today here.
I can recall last year, Dave, you and I feeling rather concerned about Ben. When we saw him one day, he looked absolutely gaunt there for a while.
Well, they finally really got the thing squared away at Methodist Hospital in Houston, and took some treatments there, and he does feel a lot better.
So does his scoreboard look a lot better.
You can see that his stamina improved just by the scores that he's shot this year. Just the scores at Augusta prove that he's back, and maybe not full strength, but certainly a lot better than he was in 1985.
Any of the people you've seen so far on this leaderboard as we go through, anybody through +5 still has at least an outside chance. Anybody with +4 is in it. And speaking of +4s, here is Payne Stewart. A sartorial note of the snakeskin, I guess, huh? Shoes.
Goodness, Dan Jenkins jumped right out of his typewriter there. We saw that.
This for the par, remember? So the bogey will drop him to 1 over, and the leader of the championship will be the man with the bad back, Mark McCumber. McCumber, who started the day 3 shots out of the lead.
He's playing right behind Payne and Raymond.
That 6th hole, on which Payne just took the bogey, as you said earlier, is a very difficult hole. In fact, most days it plays as the most difficult hole in the course. It's the only water hole in the course, and is normally the #1 handicap hole. Lee Trevino. This to take the lead.
I think Lee would just like to two-putt this. This is get this up there close. You cannot be too aggressive. It gets very fast just past the hole there. We saw Payne Stewart running about 7 feet behind. Made it coming back.
Ideally, he just gave him a chance to go in, and still was close enough that he could make the birdie. That will bring him back into a tie for the lead. Still 7 players within 1 shot of each other. McCumber and Payne Stewart, Hal Sutton, Greg Norman, Lee Trevino, Bob Tway, and Ben Crenshaw. Ray Floyd 1 more stroke behind. There it is.
It says putting for the lead. He must be on there in 2.
I believe he's on in 2,
Graphic
yes.
is right, so this would be for a 3. And he got to look at Trevino's land there, so it may have helped Bob on his, if he wasn't sure which way it was going to break. No, he's got it to the right there. 2 good putts, though.
Okay. And that birdie could move him into a tie for the lead. Makes that little putt. McCumber now, the leader in this championship.
But he may be in the rough there. He's, let's see, yes, in the right-hand rough. And the players that I talked to, if he's in that second cut of rough over there, Jim, he's got a decision to make about being able to knock it over the water, which is about 50 yards short of the green.
If he gets in really heavy stuff, he'd have to be maybe a little concerned about the back, too.
Yes, you can see him kind of put his hand around there on the side. Now, look, he's got to try to make his mind up. Do I want to take this chance? You put in that water and you got a quick 6. Going to get his yardage book.
Only water on the golf course. He has to think a little bit, and they had to put it here.
Maybe that's why they put it there.
Yeah.
This is giant of a golf hole.
Remember when he was leading the Doral, what was it, last year? And everybody thought he lost his ball, but he said, I'm going to take that full 5 minutes, and he finally found it himself.
He was misinformed about where it was. Someone told him it was stuck in the tree.
Right.
Well, evidently it hit the tree and bounced to the right.
And he kept saying, no, I don't believe it. It's not in the tree. And he was right.
If you look back from the green, you can see the problem that Mark has there. And really, that may be as tough a rough as there is on this golf course where he is. See, look how high that grass is. If that's 4 inches, huh?
And just now he has been joined on the lead by Tway and Trevino. Sorry, here's Greg Norman.
I can pull that.
That ball jumped left out of there. He had the kind of a lie where the tall grass was going to make it go left.
And it did, Bob. He may not have too good a swing from where he's very near those bushes now. I can't tell whether Mark's going to lay up or not, but we'll know in a moment.
Norman, of course, on the 5th, the par 5, a hole he would normally hope to get home in 2 on.
I think he tried to knock it over the water.
And he did.
Whoa. You may not think that's a very good shot because the player didn't knock it on the green, but I know that my man here, Jack Whitaker, can tell you that is a real fine golf shot.
This was Trevino's putt for the birdie that put him back into a tie for the lead. Crenshaw for a par at 8 to remain within a shot. Yes.
Very important par for Ben there. He just made 4 straight birdies and he bogeyed 7 and didn't get on the green there.
So we still have 7 within a stroke of each other for the lead in the U.S. Open.
This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by USF&G. All across this country, USF&G protects your business, home, auto, and life. USF&G covers the USA. By IBM and the growing family of IBM personal computers. And by Martin Marietta, masterminding tomorrow's technologies in aerospace and information systems.
We're back at Shinnecock Hills for the 4th and final round of the United States Open, and we have 3 leaders at the moment. The mature Lee Trevino, young Bob Tway, and Mark McCumber. And the rest at 1 shot behind. 7 players, 7 shots behind. This was moments ago at the 5th hole where we left Greg Norman after he hit his 2nd shot. The par 5, which is very reachable today in 2.
Go ball. Go.
They hits it on in regulation, so it could have been a lot worse. Payne Stewart, 1 shot behind. At the 7th. Now Mark McCumber at the 6th hole. It's for par.
This will be an All-American 4, Jack.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Pat on the back there, or the little twinge in the back by Mark McCumber as we look at Greg Norman on the 5th.
One thing I've noticed, Jack, today, you know, Greg has had some great speed putting here in the first few days. Not so much today, really. Ran the ball by at the 2nd hole.
Yes, that's right.
Ran it a long way by at 3, where he took 3 from the edge.
Think they're speeding up a bit?
Could be, plus a little more nervous.
Yeah. I've never seen so many people, though, be so aggressive in the final day of the Open. Have you?
No, I haven't.
That's how he putted the first 3 days.
Right, he just didn't leave himself any, you know, could almost go up and nonchalant it in the hole.
He remains at 1 over, 1 shot behind the leaders. Trevino, Tway, and McCumber share the lead. And here's Tway at the long par 4 6th.
Jack, he's got about 210 yards, and he is playing very well, very aggressively today. He was much looser today on the 1st hole than he was yesterday. Much more at ease, and we can't forget about this guy. He's not going to go away.
His opening round 70 was really remarkable. He lets that slip away a little bit, though, Ed. Hal Sutton now at the 5th hole. This would be for birdie to get back a share of the lead he once held. Yes, he did.
You talk about so many players doing well. I think today's player just thinks so much more aggressively, Jack.
Yep. Trevino. And in the bunker. That insidious bunker there that truly does a marvelous job in guarding the sixth green here. How far was he there, Ed Snead?
Jack, he was about 225 yards, but he had a pretty good lie in the rough, so I don't think he was concerned about his lie. I think he just came over it a little bit against that wind.
All right, there are the people who have realistic chance to snatch this championship title. Calcavecchia with a 65 early today for the course record. We look now at the really beautiful little par 3, not too little, the seventh hole. George Burns said he's called this little par 3. I just busted a 3-iron, all I could get.
It's 188 yards, and the wind, let's see what the flag is doing. It doesn't look like it's blowing too hard.
Crossing against here, usually, with this wind.
Get up.
And he misses the green in the bunker. To the left side there. Oh, there's Mark rubbing his back again, and we talked to him before he started out today about that.
Well, it's my fault for putting it in the rough. I got a really bad lie on the 16th hole on my second shot and tried to just hitting wedge out to get to the fairway, but I felt something kind of go in my right middle of my back. Hopefully it'll be fine by tomorrow.
Well, he had some work done on it last night. He had said this morning before he went out that it was feeling much better, but apparently it's still there. Bob Tway. Third shot on this par 4 sixth hole. Come on down that hill a little more.
Good shot, buddy. Nicely done.
Trevino in that bunker.
If he has a good lie, though, Ed, has he got a good lie? Maybe it's Ed.
Yes, he's got a pretty good lie, Dave. I think if he, you know, as good a player as Trevino is, if he just executes a good shot, he'll get close.
Well, given the 2 shots, I think most of the players would rather have the bunker shot there, Jack, because you know what
and the one Bob Tway.
Right,
Yes.
right, of the 2.
Now, 4 people sharing the lead. And 3 of them right 1 stroke behind. Ben Crenshaw, 9th fairway.
Must have hit a bad drive because this is his.
Well, I don't know. Is it second or third shot?
It's got to be his third shot. I
couldn't
can
hit
see
it that
from
far.
here.
Yeah. Could not hit it that far. Off the tee. Third shot for Ben Crenshaw. Corner here, 9, 10, and 11.
That's right. It is.
Amen corner by the sea.
It has killed many a player this week.
4 birdies and 1 bogey for Ben Crenshaw today. And we look at Trevino at the 6th hole for par. Should retain a share of the lead. look a little tentative there, or was he just trying to finesse it in?
That was not as good a stroke or as long a backswing as he's been taking. He cut that off a little, and that can happen to you when you try to wish it in, maybe.
Well, Judy Rankin, you're with the hot one here, Mark McCumber.
Yes, I've just joined Mark. I saw him play his tee shot at 7, and I think that he was a victim of the crosswind.
Yeah. It's in the... yeah.
Well, he's hit the ball in the face of the bunker, and some long grass has kind of held it up and kept it from falling into the trap. I think he can play from that lie, and he has enough green to work with. I think he can make par.
Hope he doesn't hurt his back again. This was kind of a stance he had with...
Well, he's not going to be swinging quite as hard, Jack. But I don't know. You don't practice these kind of shots. You're always making this up as you go along a little bit. You know, in the bunker, you know what it's going to do. Okay.
Below the hole. Hal Sutton at the 6th.
It's 220 yards from the hole, Jack, in the light rough with a perfect lie to play this kind of shot. This ball's going to come out like a bullet.
What's he got?
I believe he's got a 3-iron up.
Crosswind, Russ?
Pretty much into the wind, Dave. Came out beautifully right at the hole.
Pulled up a little short. .471 yards, and if you're not in the fairway, you're asking for an awful lot of trouble here.
Anywhere.
Well,
especially
6. Here's Norman is... Well, let's first go to the 8th fairway and Payne Stewart.
Payne, Sutton, Crenshaw.
And nicely on the 8th green for Stewart. Down Norman, who has driven it just as perfect. He used every bit of the fairway there on the right, didn't he?
Sure did. He was about 210 yards. He's lost it a little right.
It's in the first cut there. Almost pin high.
Let's go out like we did yesterday. Over to 8.
Al McCumber at 7 for his par.
Break to his right a little, isn't it?
Didn't make it.
Yeah, it looked like he moved a little on that. You can see. Now, the ball may not have come to rest. You got to wait for it to stop, and that's what happened. He went over to tap it in, but maybe it was just taking one last little turn.
So now it's Sutton and Tway, co-leaders, as McCumber, for the moment, drops back to 1 over to join Craig Norman, Payne Stewart, Ben Crenshaw. That's his Ben up at 9 for par. Hit it. Happy to get that. 3 under 32 for Ben on the front. Here's the 7th hole, the par 3 that we just watched Mark McCumber play. 188 yards from the back to a sloping right to left green with a right to left wind.
Big swing that way. Great looking golf hole. It's sort of, if you swing the ball in from right to left, you're going downhill. Huh? It's
Yes,
not a green that receives the shot as much as makes it go a little farther than you think.
Trevino going to hit it left to right here, huh? Against it?
I would assume that's what he's going to do. Of course, you know, how does he feel? How does he see the shot today? How strong is the wind blowing there?
Sutton and Tway. And right behind, yelping at their heels, Trevino, Norman, Crenshaw, Stewart, and McCumber. There's Bob Tway, ready to hit. And the flag up in the upper part today.
He's pulled it quite a bit to the left, Jack. It's going to be either in the gallery or just short of it.
It hit the gallery fortuitously because he could have been in much deeper trouble, and stops just short of that bunker. He'll have a chip up.
Well, I don't know that was lucky. I think if he'd gotten past that, he'd have had an easier shot. It looks like now he's on a little downslope with the ball below his feet. He's going to have a pretty tough little shot, it looks like to me.
We'll be back in just a moment.
The short seventh. A very nasty place in loose sand on the downslope. And, well, you saw what happened. Got the club back, but when the club touched the ground, the sand all gave way, and now he's just got to steady himself. He's only a young player, but an experienced one. He's won on the US tour, so he's got nerves that are pretty steely. Now, this was recorded, Hal Sutton for a par. The match behind. So he's going to drop out of the lead. He tapped it in, but that was a stroke gone. So at this moment, Tway is in the lead by himself. Greg Norman also dropped a stroke, playing with Hal Sutton, and that's a he's certainly going to lose one here, Bob Tway. So things changing very dramatically and very fast indeed. And, well, we're getting towards the final 9 holes for the leaders in this year's championship. But there's an awful lot of playing to be done yet. Tway's going to drop a stroke here. So it's going to be Trevino, Crenshaw, Sutton, Payne, Stewart, McCullum. It's going to be back to 5 or 6 players, all tied for the lead yet again. With these players, not a million miles away. Langer's dropped a stroke at the 9th. Jack Nicklaus dropped one at the 10th. Sandy Lyle, the British Open champion, finished with a 72. And here's Trevino going for a 2, slightly uphill at the 7th. He's given it judged it well. Good speed, just a little wide, and that's not by any means stone dead, but he still looks very happy. As Al Trautwig noticed when they talked to him on the practice tee, he's wearing the colours that he wore, the black and the red, when he won his first championship way back in the 60s. Who says they're not superstitious? We'll go to the 8th now. Mark McCumber, one of the joint leaders. Here he is. Just 367 yards. Oh, he's unlucky, or is it going to stay, or is it going to go off the green? It stops, and he's got a very holeable putt for a birdie. Master Tway, and this for a bogey. We spoke to him earlier about what he'd learned at Oklahoma State University.
I learned a lot about the golf swing in particular, a lot about how to play the game of golf, but I think I also learned to have a lot of patience and to control my emotions, and learned a lot about life. I think that's, besides playing golf and going to school, Coach Yoder emphasizes good moral standards, I think, and I think it helps in everything.
Very sound words there from a obviously sensible young fella. So look at the leaderboard now, all 1 over par. Well, we we've seen some very good scores today. Of course, Mark Calcavecchia out with Dave Eichelberger. They had a terrific match. Calcavecchia 65 new course record and 66 for Eichelberger. 40 players in, 8 of them have broken par thus far. Hal Sutton, one of the joint leaders, and this wind swirling up, and they're just, as you can see, in a little pocket of trees there, and that hedge on the right-hand side just protecting them from the breeze. So selection of club all important. Bob's out there, Bob Rosberg's there, and I bet he's enjoying it as much as you are at home too.
Well, it's really great, Peter, to see all these great players going at each other. It really is a great day for golf.
Sutton punches it in. How's it looking?
Boys. The wind is blowing just hard enough, Peter. I'd say it's blowing between 15 and 20 miles an hour. And I think that it's gotten up now that it's really going to be a big, big factor in from hole number 8 coming on in, because it already has been.
Yes, the inward 9 are going to prove very testing indeed, particularly 10, 11, and 12 around that corner. Now, Sutton's ball looks as if he's buried in that bunker. We asked Hal Sutton, he seems to be in a thoughtful mood. We asked him, what about this extra thinking and efforts put into doing things right?
I think all open courses do, because they tend to put the pins on undulations, and you've got to make sure where you want, if you miss it, where you want to miss it, so you can have a good opportunity for your next stroke.
Well, easier said than done sometimes. But Sutton looks to be buried in the bunker at the 7th. Now Ben Crenshaw, one of the joint leaders. Second shot at the 10th. Now, being on the fairway is a plus to start off with. Now that's what he's coming to. 409 yards, but this has caused a lot of problems this week, this hole. Crenshaw with a very lofted club, as you can see. Looked like a pitching wedge. Fired in the air. So, a very full leaderboard indeed. It couldn't be more even, Stephen, as the last players get towards the final 9 holes. More excitement coming up.
Lee Trevino, one of 6 men tied for the lead in the U.S. Open. Here is Lee.
It looks like he's just driven it perfect down there. There's a shot against the wind. He'd probably play a low little shot in here. So much. Ooh, I don't
Didn't seem to like it.
Left, yeah.
It's going to be short, Dave.
Is it? You have a bad lie yet?
No, he had a perfect lie. I think the wind got it. It was blowing a little stronger than he played, at least. The ball seemed to balloon up in the air, which is uncharacteristic of Lee's shots when he tries to keep them down.
Greg Norman at 2 over with this birdie attempt to get back into a share of the lead. There would be 7 tied for the lead. We have 11 within 2 strokes of each other, and the back 9 is yet to come.
Just letting these things kind of slip away on him. Not birdie in the 5th hole, which he can reach in 2, and then good drive at 6 and put it out to the right. Makes a bogey there. Well, maybe he can make this one and get back in it.
Chip Beck has birdied 10, 11, 12, and 13. Bob Tway on the 8th fairway now with his second shot. He is one of the leaders. 7 tied for the lead. 1 stroke behind. We have Floyd, Dennis Watson, and Beck, and Lanny Watkins.
Oh, look at that. Great shot. Like Ed Snead said, he won't go away. He may not go away for about 20 years. He's really a good-looking player.
Bob Tway won last Sunday, and so often the guy who's playing well just plays well straight through the U.S. Open.
If there's a 7-way tie, will they play a 7-something, you think, or they have start times, or what?
How would you like to be tied for the lead in the U.S. Open and have your name at the bottom of the leaderboard?
Frank, what would y'all do if there was a 7-way tie?
I think we'd go with a 4 and a 3, David.
All right.
4 and 3. Well, get thinking on it, Frank. Now, we mentioned Chip Beck. And here he was putting for a birdie on the 13th. He had birdied 10, 11, and 12.
The golfing home of Raymond Floyd, also Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's a good young player.
Out of the University of Georgia.
Absolute magic. And what a score. If he could get that on the board and have the other guys staring at it all day, that really can put pressure on people. So many times a player that puts the score on the board can win the tournament.
Al Trevino.
Okay, he's putting, so he's not too far off the green.
Putting well, too.
So that was a little smoother stroke than the one, a little longer backswing than the one he took at 6.
No sign of any weariness in the 4th round. Under pressure with this 46-year-old body out there.
Oh, you won't feel tired until tonight, Jim. You get pumped up out there. It's like he said, I can't wait to get out there.
That's right.
Besides that, he's in good shape. Doesn't ride carts and stuff. He practices a lot. You'd have to be strong to keep his schedule up.
Now Tway, who really proved himself quite unflappable on opening day when in the wind and the rain and the Wagnerian opera aspect of the tournament had the only even par round of the day to take the lead.
And this would give him the lead.
This putt is for the lead again now.
Should move a little from left to right.
Country clubs at Southern Hills and a few other places we could mention.
Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah. There it is. Tway by 1 over the other 6. Trevino, Norman, Crenshaw, Sutton, Payne Stewart, and Mark McCumber. So, I'm sure we don't have to ask you to stay with us. Let's just take a break right now and catch our wind.
Eighth hole, Hal Sutton.
You know, it's a good-looking shot, Jack.
Oh, my, yes, Rossi. In birdie territory.
Shot from about 115 yards. Greg Norman about 110. 2 beautiful drives.
There's a wind in their face there today.
Yes, playing right into the breeze. This isn't bad either.
I guess not. Getting better. Boy, they're just going after every pin when they have the chance. Al McCumber up ahead at 9. Now he's on the upslope. And the 9th green is about 20 feet, would you say, Dave? 25 feet above the fairway.
Oh, at least that, Jack. It hits up pretty high. They're driving a lot farther today. This is what you would like, is the upslope. Help you hit the ball high and a nice, you know, have it come down soft.
Right at the 10. All right. Sticks it in there, well below the pin, but safely on and in the right place to be, below the pin. We asked Mark what he thought about Shinnecock.
I absolutely love Shinnecock. I And it's a pleasure to be here. I wanted to qualify. I had to go through the qualifying to get here, and I was very proud to make it, and I'm happy to be playing here. Ben Crenshaw, who loves golf, had told me so much about it, and being an architect, I couldn't wait to see it, and I'm not disappointed at all.
And I guess he likes it even more right now, sitting as he is. That's one shot off the lead as we look at a diagram of the 9th hole. They've lengthened the tee here for this championship, and they drive into a very undulating fairway, and then, as we told you, to a very high green. The leader, Bob Tway. Here's the shot that he has. Aiming for the right corner, really, of the clubhouse, I guess, from the back.
If you can hit a drive here, Jack, of sort of a high swing right to left hook, then you get the advantage of the wind and all of it, all the elements.
It looks good, Dave. It's right in the center of the fairway. And he has rolled to the upslope almost to where McCumber was, so he's in very good position.
There's a look back. Trevino.
Now, this is not the kind of hole when you've got to move the ball from right to left that you think Lee has the advantage. You might think he has a little disadvantage. You see, he's a lot more open, but he can turn the ball when he needs to.
Down the hill and up the hill, side by side. I don't think there's an inch difference in the two drives.
You would take either one.
Indeed. All right, we're looking at the 9th green, below it the 18th, beyond that the 14th hole, and Hal Sutton tapping in for par here at 8. Remain at 1 over. Now Greg Norman will have a chance to regain part of the lead.
Big birdie for him at 7 after making 5 at 5 and 5 at 6, bogey at 6.
He has led more than anybody else in this tournament, but does not lead at the moment.
Pulled it now. Hold it. That's what I was talking about, his speed today. Stroke has not been as smooth as it was the first 3 days. If you knock a ball that far by the hole from there, it's pretty hot when it goes by the hole. None of these are gimmies either.
No, they're not.
You just don't want to have to make every putt, you know. You'll eventually miss one if you do.
Up at the 9th hole now, Mark McCumber. For birdie. Mark will have that for par. Remain 1 shot behind. 33 on the front 9. A little natural amphitheater up here at the 9th green, which the gallery is taking advantage of.
Great place to watch the tournament from, Jack.
Yes, you can see quite a few of the holes from up there. We'll look out over the course.
Plus the big scoreboard.
There's Mark's score.
He was looking at the scoreboard.
Yes, indeed.
So just where we are here. In case you wonder if the player, they do want to know. Most of them absolutely want to know what's going on.
There it is. cement fairway, and Raymond Floyd. Now, Judy, what's the situation there? Did he drive to the bottom of the hill? Oh, sorry,
Judy went up
is
with
not
the
there.
cover. But he's at the top of the hill there.
Yes, it looks like Payne might be in the downslope, but he's right on the shelf. Good place to be.
Well, you have to make your mind up. Do I want to put it up there and have about 170-yard shot into the green, or do I want to drive down maybe a little closer to the green and have a downhill line?
And a blind shot.
Yes.
McCumber got his par at 9. Oh, and what a lovely shot by Raymond Floyd here at 10. Woo. That could have missed the hole by very much. Ninth fairway and Trevino.
Jack, Lee Trevino has driven the ball into a divot hole here in the ninth. It's not sitting down a lot, but it's just enough that on a shot like this much uphill, that it's going to bother him a little bit. I think he can get it on the green, but I don't think he can do as much with it as he'd like.
That looks like it went out to the right, Ed.
Well, it's a little to the right. If it gets short, I think definitely the lie hurt him there.
Let go of it. Let go of the club.
Sometimes when you hit it out of a hole like that, Jack, it just knocks your hand off the club.
Lanny Wadkins now up to 16th, par 5. This is for birdie. That would put him just one shot off the lead.
And 5 under for the day. Well, there's a man we didn't think about, but when he gets going, Jack, he can run the table. It's
Third straight birdie on the back, and remember, he's got those wretched holes behind him now. If he can get one more, or even post the 2 over.
How about the 1 over?
Or the 1 over, rather. It's very important. Bob Tway now at 9.
70 yards.
Great shot. The leader, Bob Tway, on brilliantly at 9, and we're back at the 9th tee, and Greg Norman.
That one's almost up the hill, Jack.
Yes, isn't it, though, Bob? What a tremendous drive.
About 20 yards past where Bob Tway's ball was.
Hal Sutton.
Hal has hit a lot of funny-looking drives today. He really hasn't driven the way he usually does. That looks a little better. That's perfect.
Right up near Norman's ball. 7 people at 1 over, 1 shot off the lead. And Lanny Wadkins, the hot man at the moment. 3 straight birds as he heads to the 17th tee. 5 under for the day. So that's the situation here as we get near the closing 9 of this U.S. Open, and we'll return in a moment.
Well, there's the way they stand. 8 men within a single stroke of each other. There are 11 within 2 strokes in the U.S. Open Golf Championship. If you've just joined us, I think the most overall significant thing that's happened so far today is that Greg Norman no longer controls the fate of all the other players in this championship. If he had gone off to a very fast start today, he might have been able to put the tournament out of reach, but he didn't do that. And although he's only 1 stroke out of the lead at the moment, he's just 1 of 8 in there fighting, with Bob Tway having that 1-stroke lead. Mark Calcavecchia set the tone for the day early when he came in with a course record of 65. Then it was Jack Nicklaus going out and birdieing the first hole, birdieing 2 of the first 5, getting within 4 shots of the lead. But Jack has sagged since then. He is back to 6 over, which is where he started the day. There followed then a flurry of birdies on the first hole particularly. The lead has been going back and forth and back and forth. And as we said, 8 people within a single shot. Significantly on the back 9, we've had Chip Beck birdie 4 holes in a row, and Lanny Wadkins birdie 3, 14, 15, and 16, and that isn't supposed to happen on the back 9. If one of the leaders should do that, well, they still might be able to put it out of the reach of the others. Otherwise, we might have an 8-way playoff, and that would be at 18 holes tomorrow. So that's about the situation as we stand now and watch Lee Trevino. Lee Trevino at the 9th hole. Remember, 1 shot out of the lead. And that put him 2 shots out of the lead. He left his second shot short of the green. Okay, and as Trevino lines up this bogey putt, let's go over to Peter.
Thanks, Jim. Yes, and it's a very exciting afternoon indeed, isn't it? And how well Bob Tway is playing. He played a good second, but was putting back down the hill. And he slipped past a fair distance. Now he has this to stay in the lead. Well, first signs of creaking nerves. Now here's the man of the moment, Lanny Wadkins at the 17th. He's had a tremendous run. He's 5 under par for today. What a good effort. Well, I think if he gets his 4 at the final hole, no worse than a 4, that'll set a pretty good target. A very good target, in fact. The lead is still in the clubhouse. Mark Calcavecchio, as Jim was saying, with a score of 287. Made, of course, with a course-breaking score of 65. Look at that. There's Wadkins' card. 1 birdie going out, guys. 2 at the second. Those 2s certainly smarten your score up very quickly. 10, 11. You see those 2 dangerous holes he got through there with a par and a birdie 2, and then 3 birdies in a row. 14, 15, 16. What a good run there. Now, out to the final group, the 9th fairway, and Greg Norman. Joint leader. 7 of them now. At 1 under par.
Shot of 150 yards, Peter. 7 iron.
And the wind's freshening, as seems to be blowing even harder, Bob, at the moment.
Yes, it is. That shot may be a little long.
Yes, back of the green, and leaves him a very fast chip back. Just above the hole there you saw was Hal Sutton's second shot. Hal with a very good chance of a birdie. Great crowd here today, as you can see. And there's the scoreboard. And well, I suppose someone's going to break away over the last 9 holes, but at the moment, my word, they're all packed and waiting. What a bunch. And these other players by no means out of it. Here's Chip Beck for a birdie. This is the 15th hole, and look at this, and another one rattles the back of the cup, and he's down to just 1 over. Well, this really is terrific stuff. 8 players now at 1 over, but one has to think that those nearest the clubhouse who post their scores first will be the hardest to catch. And that, at this moment, is Lanny Wadkins. 1 over par with just the 18th hole left to play. And there he is. Former PGA champion, Ryder Cup player. And as Dave Meyer was saying, when he gets going, my word, the feathers fly. Started the day at 6 over par. Birdied the second, and then he's gone on his merry way in the inward 9. 4 birdies. He wants a 4 for a 65, which would equal the course record. 10th green, Mark McCumber. 9:33. Safely on the green at the 10th. On the left, Greg Norman from the back of the 9th green, and he'll be well pleased to get down in 2 from there. Very quick down that hill. So Macumber for a birdie on the right. Greg Norman plays third, Fewings third on the 9th on the left. Macumber for the lead. Jack Nicklaus back to level par. And 6 over though, 5 behind, and only a few holes to go. 4 holes left for Jack. A crucial putt here. Down in 2 is a must. It's a bit like that little chip shot that Ballesteros holed behind the 18th green at Augusta a year or 2 back. And he went through the green and then didn't reach the green with his third and then knocked one. It's that sort of shot, very quick. Wind gusting. Doesn't touch that one. Gives it a lot of swing. Too much swing. Let it go. That really was a bit crude. He misread that and left himself a lot of work to do. Don't think he's lost his turn, so we'll go quickly to Raymond Floyd. This for a birdie.
I have a leader.
Lovely, slow, firm stroke, and in she runs again. So another one at 1 over par. The list is almost endless. Now Greg Norman. I don't think he lost his turn at the 9th. He's got to putt before Hal Sutton's putts for a 3. So we could see a dramatic swing here. And if there wasn't enough distractions, planes drone overhead, the train whistles. And Greg Norman, after a super tee shot, just hit the second shot too hard, took 3 from the edge, drops the stroke, tries to remain calm. 18th, Lanny Wadkins. What he wouldn't give for a 3 here. Perfect, perfect, they say. And perfect it is. There's a view over Shinnecock, which hasn't seen so much golfing excitement for many a year. Here's Sutton now at the 9th for a birdie. Payne Stewart has moved to even par, so he leads at the moment. Can Sutton join him? I think he can. Yes, he can. Sutton with a 3 then. Greg Norman takes 5 at the 9th. 2-shot swing there. Sutton, Payne Stewart, who are the young Lions, lead the way, but there's still a few holes left yet. This was Payne Stewart at the 11th. This was recorded. This is where he first of all got into the lead, to be followed, as you saw just then, by Hal Sutton.
Get back there. Come on back there. Come on.
Beautiful tee shot. He just tapped that in. Tapped it in for a 2, which took him to leader. I'm talking now co-leader. Here's his tee shot at the 12th. 400 72-yard long par 4. And, well, no, as he let that go way over it. It's over where those people are all scampering under those trees and bushes. That could be disaster. He's just working out what he should have done. Now he's over there. Doesn't look as if he's reached the bushes, but he's well off course. He's got to come over the corner there, down the dip, and up to this 12th green. So, we're into the last 9 holes, and our 2 leaders, Sutton and Stewart. The 2 S's lead the way.
Back again at what is shaping up as perhaps the most classic U.S. Open of them all. Lanny Wadkins on the 18th hole. He made a tremendous start on the 9. He had 3 birdies in a row. Now he's gone long.
Get down, it's over there. It is green, but it doesn't look like a bad line. He's got a lot of green there that you know, much better on the left side today than missing the green to the right. 4 here would be very important because players will be looking at 281. And there's still a lot of golf to be played for one of these guys coming out here a winner.
I've just been checking the record book, seeing Hal Sutton equal for the lead right now. No non-father on this Father's Day has won the Open since Ed Fergal in 1954. Greg Norman on the 10th tee. And he's gone into the left rough, and that looked like it went down.
That really went down.
Did it? Yes,
it did.
Okay, wind is still up, Rossi.
Yes, the wind is blowing as hard as it has the last 5 or 6 holes, Jack. It's probably blowing from 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Okay. Again, a look at it. Those that were 1 behind: Ray Floyd, Lanny Wadkins, Bob Tway, Chip Beck, Mark McCumber. Hard to get everything on the leaderboard here. That's Tway on the 10th hole. His 3rd shot on the par 4. Tway and Trevino. Trevino 2 shots out of the lead now, so we haven't noticed him for a while. He's 2 shots out, as are Norman and Ben Crenshaw. Payne Stewart here, of course, tied for the lead. He's on the 12th hole.
Looks like he's outside the ropes at 12, too.
Yeah.
Pull back, is it?
They shoot across Tuckahoe Road here, normally a regular highway.
472
not a busy one.
yards, and it's he blocked it out to the right. He may, I'm sure he's over where the gallery has been walking, and depending on whether he got a good lie or not, he'll have a clean shot at this. It may not be quite as tough as, well, I know it wouldn't be quite as tough as if he missed it on the left side of those bunkers where the deeper rough is.
Okay, to the hole, according to the computer, approximately 210 yards.
Had to be a shock to this young man's nervous system to make a 5 there at 9 after hitting just a fine drive and a good second shot right over it. But that is so slick there at 9, putting down that hill.
On the right now, we have Mark McCumber. Tway, of course, on the left. That's a par putt for Tway. McCumber for a birdie.
At 11.
Good save there. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. It stays within a stroke of the lead. From off the green, McCumber leaving in the flag stick, getting it nice and close in 11. Now let's go to Lanny Wadkins. This is the 18th hole. He's going to put a score on the board here, and everybody else will know what it is. He sure would like it to be a 65. For it to be that, he has to get it close enough to that hole to put it in with 1 putt. Trevino for his par now. He is struggling a bit. On the 10th hole. Looking good.
Good putt there for Trevino. And back to Wadkins there. You talk about his 5 under for the day and everything. It, you know, 281 is what he's got to shoot. All right, and that looks well played there.
Okay, he's giving himself a chance.
That is a super shot. Because he knows.
And again, he is one with all the shots, like a Trevino.
if he comes to Houston and takes lessons from Dick Harmon, a friend of mine, even as good as he is, takes lessons.
Look at the easily recognizable figure of Payne Stewart, even from the rear, with the golf cap and the blonde hair. Of course, is wearing the +4s. Now, here's Norman from that deep rough on the 10th to the left of the fairway.
He just hardly got it in the air at all. It's bounding through the rough. It did get back in the fairway, which is a big break. It got down to the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
He had a terrible lie, though. He just had no chance whatsoever.
What, he about half topped that, didn't he?
Well, I just don't think he got down to it.
Now, Payne Stewart, the blind shot on the 12th. Stewart tied for the lead with Hal Sutton. Oh, what a shot.
What a shot. Yeah, that's about a 10.
On a scale of same. Now Sutton, the other co-leader here. On the 10th fairway.
Very high in the air, going a little left of the hole, but a good-looking shot. Right in the middle of the green.
Yep. Sutton in good shape. Greg Norman, his playing partner today, not in good shape, lying too well out on the fairway. Now Watkins with the par he needs for 65, which would equal the course record set earlier today by a young man from West Palm Beach, Florida, named Mark Calcavecchia.
But more important is for 281, and that score has won a lot of opens.
Mm-hmm.
Sweat the rest of the day.
Yes. There it is. Birdied the second. An immaculate scorecard. Not one bogey there. All white and red. White for pars and red for birdies, including those 3 in a row at 14, 15, and 16. Chip Beck, who birdied 5 out of 6 holes, 10 through 15. Here he is on 16. One stroke out to the lead, as are Watkins and Tway and Floyd and McCumber.
Welcome back to the dramatic happenings at Shinnecock Hills as we near the end of this 1986 United States Open. Co-leaders at the moment are Hal Sutton and Payne Stewart, but then look at everybody closely bunched behind. And Lanny Watkins posting the first realistic score of 281, 1 over. And a remarkable round today of 65. Lee Trevino on the right, Norman on the left. And Norman having all kinds of difficulty here. A bogey at 9, and now he lies 4 already here at 10.
Can't afford to miss this one, Jack, or
no.
just be, I would assume, all over for his chances.
Oh, Trevino just misses and... Stewart to take the outright lead. Marvelous second shot from the right rough here at 12. Bob Tway for a birdie. And Sutton on the left for a birdie. Bob Tway. That's right. And at the 10th green, Hal Sutton's evades the hole. At the 17th tee, Chip Beck. 172-yard par 3. 2 shots off the lead.
Nice shot.
Safely on the green. The way he's been putting today, that's dangerous.
He is.
As Payne Stewart now has wrested the lead, at least for the moment, at 1 under. This is Mark McCumber. 2 shots off the lead at the par 4 12th.
The longest drive here I have seen all week.
Mark McCumber did.
Yes.
My goodness. Downwind there today, isn't it?
I think he may have had no more than an 8-iron to the green.
Is that right? That's terrific. And of course his adrenaline is going too.
He's a long hitter. You know, of course, there's no short hitters out there.
13th tee, one of the best holes on Shinnecock. Payne Stewart, the leader, going on with an iron. And he has placed it beautifully. Couldn't be any better position here at 13 as Payne Stewart, known to everyone, of course, as the young man who Natalie attires himself in +4s. But let's get a closer look at the leader now. Well, he's wearing them today. Incandescent yellow with black stockings, and if he believes in destiny, maybe he is the man of destiny for today. Hal Sutton at the 11th. 158 yards uphill.
Treacherous little par 3, Jack, as you know.
Oh, he was going right at it, wasn't he?
Another club, though.
Yep.
That's deceiving. One of the deceiving features of 11, you're shooting uphill. It always requires a little more club than you think.
This is Chip Beck at the 17th. And he has been rolling in putts on this back 9 this afternoon, unbelievably.
2 long ones that we've seen.
Oh.
Did he hit it?
Right on line, though. My goodness, he's had 5 birds on the back 9. And that in itself is astounding. Now Norman at the 11th tee.
Been struggling all day.
Got to get something going right now.
Ball's going to be short.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's gone in. Yes, it has gone into the trap. And he might be better off there than if he had caught in the little sand steps that are in the face of it.
Now what he needs is he needs the birdies now.
Oh, yeah.
3 over, 4 shots back.
And running out of holes. Hal Sutton now at 11.
Looky here.
Oh, just a little harder.
Just a little up that hill, Jack.
number. It's just off the green here at 12, using the putter. Did he hit it? Did he hit it? Did he hit it? Yes! Oh.
Really funny, isn't it?
Oh, dear. Chip back at 17 for par. Ian McCumber among a group at +1, 2 shots behind Stewart. The leader at the 13th. Fine shot. It deserved perhaps a little better than that. Raymond Floyd's ball is the one up close to the pin. And Raymond, of course, is just +1, too. Let's take a look at his second shot at 13.
Still count Raymond there.
No, sir. Raymond is like Lanny. He can go on a streak and leave you breathless.
They're both the kind of guys you like to have in a practice round if you're playing a couple of people.
Trevino. And it just didn't run enough. It's usually the best way to come in here is to bump it, to hit it short of the green and let it bounce on. But it pulls up short.
Jack, you just saw Bob Tway's ball bounce about 30 feet by the hole.
Oh, really? Confusing, huh? All right, Payne Stewart leads this tournament at the moment at 1 under par.
So Payne Stewart leads by 1. From Hal Sutton and then a whole gaggle of players. And here he is, just at the back of the green at the 13th. Rather unlucky to have finished up against that little wedge of grass. There you see it, he's on the short stuff, but he's got to go back through that little fringe. He's only a step or two off the green, but he's taking a lofty club. Looks like a sort of 7-iron, leaning into it onto the left leg. Just give it a little stab. Break the wrist and stab it forward. And he stabbed it. It was running a bit sharp. Just came out a bit fiery. Also, whilst they mark, let's go back to the clubhouse and find who Al Troutley's got with him.
Peter, of course, 165 today for Mark Calcavecchia. Another one today by Lanny Watkins. His, of course, could be of greater implication. Lanny, you got hot in a part of the course where most people said players shouldn't be getting hot.
Well, I've played the back nine pretty well all week. I think I've shot in par every day except for, or you know, at least I guess the second day and today. But I've played 15 3 under for the week and 16 a couple under, I guess. So I've played some holes in the back real solid, and you know, it's been good to me. And I didn't have a whole lot of choice. They were the only holes left.
Tell me why you hope history is going to repeat itself.
Well, I was just saying that when I won the PGA in '77, I think I won it from 6 back playing the last round. So, you know, I caught Gene Littler and beat him in a playoff. So, right now that would be, you know, nice for history to repeat itself in that way for me. But I've just got to wait. Unfortunately, it's out of my hands right now. I've got to wait and see what the rest of these guys do. And a lot of good players out there. That, you know, there's so many good, solid players at the top of the board. They're not going to back off. I've just got to, you know, hope for a break.
How will you spend the next hour and a half?
Just watching on TV like everybody else. It's out of my hands.
Okay, Peter, back to you. We'll keep watching.
Thank you, Al. And Ray Floyd there you saw holding out for a birdie at the 13th, which puts him level with the card, just 1 behind Payne Stewart. And as Dave Marr was saying, you can never count Raymond Floyd out of the reckoning, one of the toughest competitors you'll find in a day's march. And now Payne Stewart with this putt. Well, it must be closer to 4 feet than 3. This to stay in the lead. And I think you'll be aiming this just left of centre. They really are very splendid shoes, aren't they? Very jazzy there. That very high wrist position. Just left of centre. Oh, he's overdone it. That was a tweaky one. A bit short and sharp and quick. A little nervy. So now, 3 players, if he can get this, let's have a look at it again. You see how the There's a definite little knock to the left. Had to keep it inside the hole. There was a little swing there, but not as much as that. Now he's got to be careful on this one, to eliminate those thoughts of how stupid you've been to take certainly 3 from the edge of the green. That was a little cruel there. Played a good second, just finished in an awkward spot. Chip that was just a bit too fast, and a stroke gone. So the 18th fairway now, and Chip Beck. He needs a 4 here to tie with Lanny Wadkins, who's safely in the clubhouse after a record equaling 65 today. That's the target they're coming to, this 18th hole. 450 yards. Going to go across the corner, over the bunkers. 5 under par today. He wants a 4. Also equal the course record set today by Mark Calcavelli. Oh, look at this. Oh, I say. Well, that's a beautiful shot. I don't think we've seen a better one all week here at the 18th. And that magnificent shot. That's not the easiest of putts. He's just got to be careful that he doesn't race it. Oh, look at his scorecard here. The red on the outward 9, you see two birdies, 2 bogeys, but look at the run over those difficult holes, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, look at this. Hal Sutton's missed the fairway, Bob. That doesn't look too good.
He's going to have to play a real good shot to even get it back to the fairway, and not very far down the fairway. I'm talking about straight out sideways. His ball is down underneath the branches of one of those little bushes.
Hey, Greg, watch it.
There's no way that he can go anywhere but straight left back out in the fairway, and he's going to have to play a good shot. This could be one of those whiffs, you know. Hit it too hard, all the way across the fairway, and that's what happens in one of those kind of shots.
Where's he gone now? Across the other side?
Across the other side of the fairway into the deep rough.
Well, so with Lanny Wadkins sitting in the clubhouse, having completed his 4 rounds at 1 over par, that's 2-8-1. Chip Beck with a short putt to finish in level par. Sutton in trouble, much can happen yet. 14th tee, and Raymond Floyd, you can see, using an iron for position. 1 or a 2 iron. And that looks to be okay. Looks to be on the slope. One of the features here of Shinnecock, the rolling fairways. Really is a delightful corner. I had the privilege of going over to the National Club this morning and having a look at that beautiful course there by the water. Now Payne Stewart, who dropped a shot at the last hole, one of the 3 co-leaders now, Stewart, Sutton and Floyd. Nice easy swing. There they are, so steady. Well, it's sitting up. You can see he's just off the fairway. Nice, easy position here, Payne Stewart. Good grip. So many of these players have good hands. You see the wide takeaway, head very still. Legs just easily working. Right knee, that's a good kick-in position there with the right knee. And that straight, high follow-through. Very simple. Now Sutton, 3rd shot. 3rd shot at the 12th.
Going a little right and flying. Look out. Hit very hard.
Oh, what a break there. What a break. It was flying right, Bob, and pitched in the rough and somehow got some spin on it. And he's got a putt for a par. Now Seve. Seve at the 18th. Putting up the hill for a birdie 3, and he's not got it. Seve's going to finish at 3 over par for the day. That's 9 over for the championship. And another chance gone. On the way to a good start. Birdied the 1st hole and just consistently dropped strokes throughout the day. A few birdies, 2 birdies only, 5 bogeys. So Seve finishes 2-8-9. Now, all goes still round the 18th. Lanny Watkins in the clubhouse at 1 over par. Chip Beck has this putt you'll see in a moment for a birdie 3. If he gets it, he will finish the 4 rounds at 2.80, which is par. And one has to say this might be the winning putt. This to set a new course record. We've seen it broken today, first of all by Mark Calcavecchia with 65, and a superb round, also 65, under more pressure from Lanny Watkins. Now this putt for a 64, and to be the leader in the clubhouse on 280. Come on, old trusty pal. Bit short. Very quick, very difficult putt. So Lanny Watkins sitting in the clubhouse. Lanny breathed a sigh of relief as that one slid by. Whoa. He's left himself a testy one back again. That wasn't an easy putt though, but you could see the tension there, not used to being in this position.
Peter, this is no cinch here either.
Certainly isn't, David, eh?
That's right. That's unlucky that he had that particular putt there about 5 feet past the hole, because it breaks so much to the right and so fast, you really can't put a real good stroke on it. Now, I've never had one to win a U.S. Open, but I would imagine it was certainly in his mind.
Yes, and he's got to just steady himself now to drill this one back up the hill. There's a little bit of swing on this one as well.
Yes, there is.
There's to tie with Lanny Watkins of those and lead with those players who've completed their rounds. This for 65. Seen today. Now Hal Sutton for a par at the 12th. This will go in the record books if this goes in. He's been all over the course on this hole. And what do we put on the card? Nearly put a 4. So that's a 5, and perhaps a rather fortunate 5, the positions he was in. So Sutton drops the stroke, goes to 1 over. Now Payne Stewart. Bit fiery. Coming out of the rough, over and down the bank. Doesn't look to be lying too badly. It's a struggle from there. Now Raymond Floyd playing with Payne Stewart. Here was his second shot. 14th. Joint leader. And again a hard bounce. Good shot, but just through the green. Trevino. Second to the 13th. Oh, that's very un-Trevino-like. Missed the green and left himself a horrid shot. Thick rough with very little green to pitch on. So things really tightening up over these closing holes. Tway, second shot to the 13th. Just one off the lead. He's in trouble too. Well. So suddenly, perhaps this isn't just looking like your regular tournament that we have every week. We'll take a break.
Payne Stewart over the green, remember, on 14. It's a par 4 hole, lies 2. How's the speed? Good. Good shot. Well, leaked off to the right a bit. Now, Dave, it seems to be becoming a case of where have all the birdies gone? On the last 9 of the U.S. Open, that almost always happens. We saw spectacular play earlier today. And those who were well back and didn't have the huge galleries have charged. Chip Beck and Lanny Wadkins. But now, it's the pressure cooker of Shinnecock.
Just gets a little harder. You know where you are, and people will say, well, this is just another tournament, and they try to make themselves believe that so they can stay calm. It's whistling in the graveyard. You see some swings that look so pretty earlier in the week become a little bit unglued. Wheels start flying.
Do the hands actually tremble, maybe just a little bit?
Yeah, you just sometimes can't do what you want to do. See, to me, those are the tough shots under pressure. Anytime that you have one to play with some touch or feel on it.
Jack Nicklaus coming out at 18. Nicklaus, who started the day 6 over, has birdied 15 and 16 to get to 4 over. Somewhere up in that area, so he's really more concerned as where the heck is my golf ball. The ovation can wait, and one thing you know of this man, he's playing as hard as he has been all the way. Bob Tway.
This must be for par 4 here. He missed a shot into the bunker. It's gone.
So that'll drop him to 2 over. Payne Stewart for the par now. Remain in a tie for the lead, momentarily at least.
Out to the right.
He drops to 1 over in a 5-way tie. Stewart, Sutton, Tway, Watkins, Beck, in the hopes of Lanny Wadkins and Chip Beck pick up a little bit. They've finished their rounds. They each shot 65 today. Now, he needs this to maintain the lead. Ray has had 3 birdies today, no bogeys, just a real solid round of golf. Remember, this is his 22nd U.S. Open, and he has never, on the last day, even been a serious challenger.
Well, he is now.
He's won the Masters, he's won the PGA.
As we've said many times before, Raymond putts with a very long putter. He stands up upright quite a bit. Lets his arms just swing through. Of course, he's a good putter and has been a long time.
Tar Heel from the University of North Carolina, quite a while ago.
Yes.
Ray Floyd still leads. Should he hold it, he will be the oldest winner in the history of the U.S. Open. In the springtime of the senior citizen in sport, we will return.
Well, I hate to use the word luck, but I basically played a very luckless round of golf today. I'd hit a lot of good putts. I'd hit a lot of good shots. I'd driven the ball well. When I missed a fairway, I was unplayable. I barely missed a couple fairways and was having to come out with wedges. And that's very aggravating. And the shot that I hold the wedge out of the bunker, I had just barely driven it off the fairway. I was not but 120 yards from the flag, and I couldn't even, I elected to try to put the ball in the bunker. That's how bad a lie I had. So, you know, it's disturbing. And when I held a bunker shot, I just felt that, damn it, I've overcome it. You know, I'll show you. And that was the emotion. You know, had things been going with good luck, I'd have been smiles and happy, but I'd been fighting it because I hadn't had any luck at all.
Ray Floyd talking about the kind of bad luck he had yesterday. It's not time to smile yet, but he has the lead in the U.S. Open Championship. But there are so many others. There are 4, 1 stroke behind him. There are 4 more, 2 strokes behind him. These are out of reach now. Tom Watson has not been playing too well today. As you see, he's at 8 over. Fuzzy Zoeller, another former champion. Craig Stadler, former Masters champion. Scott Verplank in his first professional tournament. Now, let's go back to Floyd, the leader, and Payne Stewart.
What's really great about this, Raymond Litt going in the last round at Westchester last week. Now the 15th hole, a dogleg right.
Judy Rankin, one of the best women players of all time, has been following them for quite a while now, and it's quite a show, isn't it, Judy?
Well, it really is, and I just heard Raymond's interview from yesterday, and I had followed him yesterday and really felt that he should have been able to score 2 or 3 strokes better than he did. He really did play well yesterday and didn't put the right number on the board.
Last Sunday, as you say, he was right there in the last round, but he shot 77. Very unlike Ray.
Right, he's usually a very good leader. Yeah. He gets out in front, he is very difficult to beat. But to show you the mental toughness of the man and the experience, he comes right here to the biggest tournament of the year, gets himself back in shape, and of course his game is very good. I don't know what happened to him last Sunday, but it hasn't affected him. Stewart again going with an iron off the tee.
And the wind's still blowing. Okay. Can't tell whether that's just to the edge of the rough or on the fairway. I would guess the fairway.
It's in the fairway, Jim, but it's very, very short. It's not even to the top of the hill.
He's going to have an uphill lie, Judy?
Yes, severely uphill.
So what'll that do, Dave?
Well, if you don't watch it, you'll keep your weight on your right side, and you'll hit a high pulled hook.
There you see the oldest U.S. champion was Ted Ray, 43 years, 4 months, 16 days, and Ray Floyd is more than 9 months past the 43-year mark. Hardly an old man, but still the oldest he would be to win the U.S. Open. And remember, Jack became the oldest Masters winner, having also been the youngest Masters winner this spring. Bill Shoemaker became by far the oldest jockey ever to win the Kentucky Derby. The owners of Snow Chief, the winners of the Preakness, are in their 70s, and there's more to that story, but here's Bob Tway. Tway on the 14th tee.
The way he leaned there looks like it might be left of where he wants it.
It is. It's either just into the tall cut or on the edge, which could be worse.
This hole requires a shot. You're going downwind, and it kind of requires a little bounce and run in there, and we've seen a lot of guys go past the pin with that shot and over the green.
Okay, there's the 13th hole, which was so much of a problem for Greg Norman yesterday. Now it's Hal Sutton with a birdie opportunity that would tie him for the lead with Ray Floyd. Young player, but no stranger to this kind of pressure. He had Jack Nicklaus chasing him to the wire in the PGA when he won it at the age of 25.
At Riviera, another fine course.
Ooh.
Was it close?
Now Jack Nicklaus on 18.
This for a par.
For a par.
Played a great pitch over from bare ground over to from the stands.
And this for a round of 68. And there goes 68 for Jack Nicklaus after earlier rounds of 72, 77 in the first round, 72 on Friday, and 67 yesterday, 68 today. A little chalk for that first round, and the rain and the winds was a little too much to catch the lead.
Think about those 3 double bogeys he made on that first round in the first hole. He's such a competitive full-time Open champion.
Here's a look at Jack's card. As you see, he started off fast, birdieing 2 of the first 5, but then he got a bogey on 7. It's just 1 under at the end of the 9. He needed more than that. Came back in 34, and a bogey on 10 didn't help him there, obviously. Now, Payne Stewart with this uphill lie. Looks like he has to wait.
Judy, how long a shot is that, say?
Well, it's 160, 170 yards. I mean, most players are hitting wedges into this hole.
What about the wind there? Is it?
The wind is left to right. Maybe quartering and helping him some.
I think he changed his mind on the club, too, didn't he, Judy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not waiting on the group ahead of him. I think he just couldn't make a decision.
Well, he needs to regroup a little bit. He just made a bogey. And Don't want to play too fast. Play your own rhythm.
Has to hurry.
Bunker, I believe, Judy?
Yes.
That's what happens with an uphill lie, too. You don't get the full value of the club. You've got to go for one more club because it's going to hit the ball higher, not the true distance you may hit it.
Now, Mark McCumber, who is still only one shot out of the lead, putting for a birdie. There's 2 shots out of the lead at this point. To get again within 1 shot of the lead. Now Floyd.
Raymond's about 130 yards. I would think hitting a pitching wedge.
Another birdie possibly in the making. He could lead by 2. Stand by.
Raymond Floyd is leading this tournament at the moment and has an excellent opportunity to stretch that lead at the 15th hole. Lanny Wadkins and Chip Beck already finished at 1 over, and that is the score to beat, as the rest of them trail behind. They're running out of holes and time now. But Mark McCumber at 1 over and Hal Sutton at 1 over and Payne Stewart at 1 over will be the people trying to catch Raymond Floyd. Raymond has won 2 PGAs in a Masters tournament. I don't remember the one PGA, David, but the other one at Tulsa, he went wire to wire, and the Masters, he went wire to wire. This is a little different way to win them for
Well, that's where he got the reputation of being such a good player out in front, which some players aren't. They'd feel a little more comfortable from behind. But
he's got that look in his eyes now, I think.
Yes, he does. And this, funny, in that little piece we just did with him, he talked about 15 sort of being a turning point for him yesterday when he made the bunker shot. If he makes that putt for a birdie, he is in control of the tournament then.
Absolutely has it in his hands. Payne Stewart, just 1 shot away, held the lead for a while. Principles. And now here is the man. That's the putt he has for a birdie to go 1 under. Hold it out of that sand trap yesterday, and after deliberately putting his second shot in the sand trap.
Well, that was the best he could do, he said. So he tried to go for the easy shot. This would put him 2 strokes in front of the field.
Then he starts to kind of walk on air, doesn't he? So leaves everybody.
About the same kind of putt he had the last hole. Just didn't get it hard enough.
Boy, it was dead center with about 1 roll left.
Yeah, either not hard enough or a little more break he needed. Jack, this is one of your more famous holes here at Shinnecock. You see, it's 444 yards, and you see a lot of the players teeing off with an iron. That's because the course, I feel, has gotten a lot faster here now, and you're downwind. They're just playing for position to put it in the fairway down at the dogleg, slight dogleg right. Great golf hole.
Yes, that's absolutely perfect. Right in the middle of the fairway with about a 6 or 7
side. You see it goes downhill from the tee, and then it gets more narrow and goes uphill to a green no bigger than the top of your head, David.
Jack, I love to see holes like that. You know, a bulldozer has never been near that hole. That architect saw that, and God gave it to him, and he didn't mess with it.
15th fairway, Mark McCumber, also one of the chasers. And playing very well. Oh, my, he's had a great week, hasn't he? Oh. I threw.
Lucky there. So he's not sure that it went over. That's the thing about the wind. You know, one shot it'll help carry, and the next one it may knock down. Then you may get one that acts like you think it should.
15 is probably the hardest green on the course in terms of surface. Hard surface, yes. All right, the 16th, 544 yards of rolling fairway to an elevated green. It'll be into the wind today. Marvelously trapped.
Raymond teed that ball very low. He may not even be going with a driver here. Can't tell from here.
There.
Or if it is, he teed it very low just because he's going into the wind. Could hear him say that should be perfect.
It is perfect.
Playing quite a bit longer because that bunker was well in reach Friday and Saturday. So a lot of players catch that right-hand bunker.
There you look up the fairway to the green. Payne Stewart. Excellent position also. Right up there. Level with that fairway sand trap. So Raymond Floyd is leading this golf tournament by one shot and will return.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by the people of Rockwell International, where science gets down to business, and by Precision Frequency Match Shafts by Brunswick Golf.
So what excitement now building up over these final few holes. Here's Ray Floyd, the new leader, all by himself, be it only by one stroke. Second shot. Par 5, this hole, 544 yards. And I think Raymond just playing a game of chess down here. Playing the wood from the tee. Now he's bumped it up into the wide portion there of the fairway again. Position A. The flag is on the front of the green. Not easy to pitch it close. That's how it is. And just look how those bunkers are all laid about, left and right. And Raymond's up some 70 or 80 yards or whatever from the flag in 2. Payne Stewart is going to hit his second with an iron. Judy's there.
Wind's right in their face, Peter. It's a different hole than it was this morning.
And what are they going to be left with for their third shots, Judy?
I would say Raymond has a shot of maybe 115 or 20 yards. But he has perfect angle. He's on the right side of the fairway. The best angle he could have to the pin.
Well, he's playing beautiful golf, and of course he had a putt on the last hole, the 15th, in fact, to go even further ahead. Lanny Wadkins, the figures on the right, 18 denotes the fact that Lanny Wadkins has finished his round, as has Chip Beck. So both of them in the clubhouse at 1 over par, and the only person ahead of them at this moment is Raymond Floyd. Ben Crenshaw is 2 over. Jack Nicklaus finished with a 68, very well played round from Jack. Mark Calcavecchia, 65. 365 today. Here's the 14th and Hal Sutton, the last group out on the course. Sutton just one behind. Yes, good one. To the 16th. So Raymond Floyd strides up, leading this field. I wonder how many times more he's got to have a go at it.
I haven't thought yet. I don't have too many more of these left where I will have a chance to win, but it's certainly a truism. I think I probably only have maybe 2 or 3 more that I'll be competitive in, so I best get on with it now, I guess.
And getting on with it, he is very well, although, as I say, that many of you might have seen he had a putt of no more than 6-7 feet at the last hole, which he missed, but he's still ahead. Here's Sutton for a birdie at the 14th. Well, a very tidy par, and he'll stay at 1 over. 6 players tied for second place at the moment. Sutton tapped his little putt in, stays 1 over. And now Ray Floyd's 3rd shot. Par 5, 16.
Something disturbed him, Peter. I don't know what, but he backed away.
Don't take snapshots until I hit, please.
Talking to the camera from the side of the fairway there. Clicking away. I hasten to say, not our camera. They have been bludgeoned into behaving well. There they are, there they are. Come on, Ray, play a nice one.
Great.
A little beauty. Well, it certainly makes the par far easy. He's only got to stay 1 ahead, and there's the culprit. Stick one through his Bolex any minute. Now, Payne Stewart. His
Payne's
3rd
probably,
shot.
He's
What?
probably less than 100 yards, Peter.
Judy, it must be very exciting out there, hey? Are you enjoying it?
I'm really enjoying it. I've known him for a lot of years and I've always enjoyed watching him play. And I'd like to see him bring it home.
And you got a front row seat as well?
Yes, sir.
And there's Payne Stewart's ball just off the green. Just not firm enough. It's just a bit of a struggle for him at the moment. Another look at Raymond's pitch after settling down after being distracted by the camera clicking. Raymond's got his own very individual style. Lots of movement, not for the purist, not for the Bobby Jones. But the results are very positive. Lovely pitch. And as you can see, that's for a birdie 4. And behind them, high up on the hill, Halsa. Fairway goes down and turns away to the right.
Wow. So too quick, man. Hang on, look good.
Get over. Get over.
That is not good there, Peter. That ball is in the deep rough to the right, really in a bad spot. He'll have a shot of about 125 yards if he can get his club on it, but it all depends on the lie.
You see how they come down from the high tee down this rolling fairway? The final group, Hal Sutton and Greg Norman, back to the 16th. Payne Stewart, who's had a couple of chances. He's just missed a couple of opportunities, but he's still only 1 shot behind. But here we have a classic match play situation again, where we might see a 2-shot swing here. Payne Stewart playing his 4th shot, a little shot from just off the green. I think he'll chip it. I don't think he'll take a little, make whatever club he takes into a straight-faced one, just to push it forward to the hole. These players players have the ability to make wedges into 1-irons from this sort of position. Bob Twain on the left at the 15th, long putt for a birdie. This would time for the lead. Tway on the left if he gets it. Payne Stewart's little chip and run from the edge of the green. Tway's putt, and both of them with still a bit to do. Well, there's a great saying at home about competence. There's unconscious competence and there's conscious competence. And I think at the moment Raymond Floyd is going through a very conscious competence stage. He knows exactly what he's got to do. Some players are in situations where they just go merrily along and things happen. Floyd now has the winning of this championship very much in his hands, as much as a one-stroke lead can, but he is in the lead, so providing he doesn't make any mistakes, and he could hold this putt, he's got to do it all. He can't just let it happen. He's in a very tough position here. He knows what the other players have done. He knows how important this putt is. So it's just clearing the mind of all other thoughts and getting on with the job of picking the spot and rolling it in. He's done this a million times before. This to increase his lead to 2. Now Sutton after that push tee shot at the 15th.
Very difficult shot out of the long grass. Wind coming from left to right and behind. He's going to have to get up.
Oh, stuck in the bunker, Bob.
Yes, he didn't have much of a chance, really. He just had the kind of a shot that he could not get up in the air.
Crenshaw at the 18th. Third shot. He must chip this in. He's 2 over. And he's played a little beauty. Very well played indeed. Crenshaw's not been in the best of health over the last 12 months or so, but he's had a very good championship, and let's hope he can finish it off by holding this putt for his 4 at the last. Now, another look at Raymond's putt here. This, when everyone looks back, I wonder if we'll say, well, that's what sealed it. Just a little touch down the hill. It was beginning to sneak away, but it disappeared, and that was the most important thing. And Floyd goes to 1 under, the only person under par. So, although we've had, 10 or 11 scores under par today, fears that people had that Shinnecock would have been taken to pieces has not happened. Now, Payne Stewart had this for his par. Oh, I say. He's taken 3 from the edge a couple of times in the last 3 or 4 holes. So how he will be ruining those little mistakes. My, oh my. Now Raymond, 2 holes to go for this difficult par 3, 172 yards. But the position he's in now, if he could only find the middle of the green, he'll be happy. Judy?
I can tell you they liked it. They liked it so much I can barely hear you.
Crenshaw at the 18th. this to finish with a 4-round total of 282. This for a round of 68. Come on, Ben. You've held many a one this length. Finish with a nice 68. It's a cruel game at times. '69 for Crenshaw, 283. Score the opportunity of victory. Escapes.
It may finally be coming together for Ray Floyd in the U.S. Open on his 22nd attempt. He's only finished in the top 10 twice. The biggest prize he ever won in the Open was $6,900. But here at the age of 43, he can become the oldest champion in the history of the event. A moist wind still comes coming in from the Atlantic. And on the tower now with us is the new member of our ABC Sports Golf team, Jack Nicklaus, with Jack Whittaker.
Back to Jim, and I guess, Jack, if we threw out that back nine on Thursday, you'd be leading this tournament now.
Well, that's the game of golf, Jack. I had 41 the second 9 on Thursday. Outside of that, I've been, I guess, 3 under par the last 3 rounds. But that's the way it goes. I had a good chance to shoot a good score today. It appears as though I sort of set 65 as a score to maybe have a chance to win, and 64 probably would win outright. It turns out that Raymond's ahead of that right now. But certainly Chip Beck and Lanny Watkins shot the 65 right in the same position I was in.
Sure do. You still feel confident enough about your game, though, don't you?
I played well. I had a good tournament. I don't have any complaints at all, and Shinnecock's a marvelous golf course, and I enjoyed playing it.
How about Raymond?
Well, I think Raymond is, this is a great thing for Raymond to be in that position, and to be able to come back at his age. And really, Raymond has not had his best year, but Raymond's a good player. He's always played well in the major tournaments, but this is the first time really in the Open that he's really had a chance to win, and it looks like he's taken charge.
You said something about the greens getting more difficult. Will this make it harder for the people behind trying to catch Raymond?
Well, the way I looked at the greens is the greens started getting a little bit bumpy as they got fast and dried out. It was good for the birdie putts, but as guys were trying to save their pars, it made it tougher.
Well, this is for birdie right here for Raymond to increase his lead even more. That's fine. Well, all right, Jack. Congratulations on a good tournament, and we'll be talking with you later.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, Jim.
Thank you, Jack and Jack.
I love what Jack said at Raymond's age.
Ray Floyd's age.
I remember when Raymond used to call him Mr. Dixon.
I still do.
A lot of us should.
So they moved to the final hole. Have a good welcome for a new station we have on the network, by the way. WCHS in Charleston, Huntington, West Virginia. Welcome aboard. But there it is by 2. Ray Floyd leads. The par here on 18, and somebody's going to have to do something amazing to catch him. Here's Mark McCumber. McCumber just 2 shots back, but this is his 4th shot on the par 5. Oh, what a terrible shot.
Everybody's going south, Jim, and it looks as though, there's still some players out there playing. It's not that Raymond has a 2-stroke lead in a way, because he is not the last man out on the golf course.
Right.
So you know he's going to try to make a 4, obviously. I mean, you want to try to put the ball in the fairway. And here's a man with a world of experience. He's won major golf championships before, played all over the world, and really, I know, make a lot of people happy. Raymond Floyd won this tournament.
Now back from the green to the tee. By the way, when I said what a terrible shot McCumber, I meant what a terrible shot he had to play.
Yes.
It's almost impossible.
I knew what you meant.
Okay,
come on
back
up
to
so
the
you're not
tee.
in my vision over there, please. Thanks.
Ray Floyd asking somebody to get out of his vision. No moment to let anything extraneous bother you.
Well, the thing that bothers you sometimes on a golf course may be the single person standing there. If it's a crowd, everything blends in.
this hole in previous rounds. He had a bogey on Thursday in the wind and the rain, and then he's parred the last 2 days.
On Thursday, you may not have been able to reach the green Thursday. There weren't too many. I only saw one player on the green and 2 from the time we were up here. He's played more like a par 5.
Payne Stewart will play the last few holes over again as he goes to sleep tonight, I think. Got it going so well. Led the tournament by himself at one point.
There'll be a lot of guys tonight thinking, I could have won that tournament today if.
Get left. Get left.
Well, if you can keep your head when all about you. Ray Floyd is the man doing it. Ah, Greg Norman. Is that a picture of dejection and resignation, I suppose? He started the day leading this championship. He's now 5 over par, 6 shots out of the lead. Let's take a break.
Bob Tway, the 16th. 2 shots behind Raymond.
He better make a birdie here, though, Jack.
Not that way, though.
That you'd be very fortunate to be able to get that on the green. Or very close to it, I mean.
Trevino in pretty good shape there, Ed? He looks to be.
Yeah, 60. The Tway shot.
Without shot back to
hold it. Sometimes you can get too much spin. I didn't realize where Tway was. He is at 3 in that left-hand stuff there, just left of the bunker.
Now Payne Stewart. Boy, so many people have been up in there, haven't they, today?
That has caught. That wind has got to be stronger coming behind them than they feel there, Jack, because you know they know the yardage. It's not a question of how far it is or misclubbing in that sense. But if you swing the ball right to left, and as you know, sometimes the wind will help you keep the ball in the air maybe more than you want it. You get a lot more out of the club. But Raymond just put this one on the green.
Dave, I have to tell you, Maria Floyd is out here obviously trying to root him in.
She is?
And she told me earlier today that Raymond said he had played this tournament more conservatively than he'd ever played a U.S. Open before. He thinks his nature is an aggressive player, and maybe that's why he hadn't done well in the past.
That's moving back away there a little bit. We'll watch Tway here. This is a tough little shot there. That's the second one like that he's had today. He had one at 7 when he had the lead and didn't get it on the green. He caught 2 very, very tough shots. And that's what happens in the Open so often when you get in position. Mean little things happen to you, and you get lies that you've never seen before.
Those 2 were very expensive for Bob Tway.
But all this counts up in your experience, Jack, so that next time you get in this position, you may be able to hold it a little more like this man has.
Raymond Floyd walking up 18. Frank Hannigan just mentioned it was Raymond who
going on, Jack. He has no simple 2-putt there.
This is Bob Tway back at 16 after the applause died down. This is for a double bogey. Marvelous round of even par 70 on the opening day here in wretched weather conditions. And now Payne Stewart. At the home ball. Overshot the green here. Al Sutton, his third shot at 16. Oh, and off into the rim. Payne Stewart. There's that different angle of the 18th green as Raymond surveys his putt.
Jack, the first time I saw Raymond was in 1963. I was asked by Joe Wolf, who worked for one of the sporting goods companies, about this new young player on tour named Raymond Floyd. And I said, well, I don't really know him. I haven't seen him play or anything. And he, as a matter of fact, had not made a cut on the winter tour. Well, that Sunday, I finished second to Raymond Floyd in the St. Petersburg Open. I got a good look at him.
That's really a good look.
I sure knew who he was.
Big Sam Snead said about him, he said he tees it up and aims for the moon.
This has got to be, if he could just win this tournament, Jack, it's the Open is just what that is. It's something you carry with you all your life, even though he's won 2 PGAs and a Masters. The Open, I would say, is the one that the players would most like to win, and certainly at this age and stage of Raymond's career, to win it, it's almost indescribable as to what it could mean to him. And he's a very emotional guy, too.
Sit and wait to see if anyone can perform a miracle.
There's no one left on the course within 3 shots of it. I mean, that's what they are, 3 shots. The closest ones are finished
now. Chip Beck and Lanny Watkins in at 1 over. Payne here trying to stay 2 over with this. Hal Sutton over at 16. That was for birdie. They would have put in within 2. Now Payne.
Well, I thought he would go ahead and finish, but let's see, it's going to do that?
Yeah.
That's what the players usually do. As long as he doesn't step in Raymond's land, which he hasn't done. There's a lot of things right there a player's got. He's got to go ahead, make his score, and then he has time to think about how long a path it's been to the 72nd hole at Shinnecock.
puffing away in the distance, and like so many clubs, famous clubs in Britain, the railway line is not far away, because in those far-off days, the railway brought the players to the handsome old clubhouses, and you won't find anything much more handsome than the old clubhouse here, the first clubhouse, in fact, in Northern America. The US Open, with Raymond Floyd having just finished up a very well and bravely played 18 holes, leading the way. And I don't think, barring a miracle, that anyone can catch him now. They'd have to get a 1 at the 16th and hole out their iron shots to the last hole to even tie. Here's the last group, Greg Norman, who was really looking forward to today so much. But things didn't go his way. But they didn't go the way of Severiano Ballesteros. He finished 9 over, Bernard Langer 4 over, Sandy Lyle, the British Open champion, 13 over. Jack Nicklaus played very well to be 4 over. And here's Greg Norman at 5 over at the moment. Ben Crenshaw had a great championship after a long run. He'll be disappointed maybe, but to finish just 4 strokes behind, having had a miserable run, is not too bad. So just 2 holes to go for the last group out on the course. And it would be still nice to finish 2-4. Have you noticed how everyone looks more tired than they did 5 or 6 hours ago? The cheeks look a little more hollow, and you know their thoughts are less pure than they were 5 or 6 hours ago. Been many in with a chance today. Payne Stewart was right there in the heat of the battle. Bob Tway, Al Sutton. Some crept in when no one was looking, like Lanny Watkins and Chip Beck. Wonderful round from Lanny, 65. We're 365 today. And Shinnecock has not been thrashed into submission.
Right house. Come on. Leave it alone, Lanny.
And that's nicely off the green. We'll go to the 18th to Al Travelling, who I'm sure is with a very happy Raymond Floyd.
Yes, he is, Peter. You know, this was a horse race for most of the day, but this Derby was not for 3-year-olds. It seems it was for 43-year-olds. And if Ray Floyd can withstand the charge of the players remaining on the course, he will become the oldest U.S. Open champion. Raymond, was it worth the wait? More than 26 years as a professional?
If I could only express it in words, it's, I haven't really had much chance to think about it yet, but it's a wonderful experience. I guess patience and hard work and waiting, I guess it pays off.
Raymond, we've had so many conversations this week, and we talked about many things. Age was one of the things that we spoke about, how many more times you'd have a chance to win the U.S. Open. This would then have to be very special to think that as the clock is ticking out, you had it in you, you played not like your age, but as a youngster again.
I felt last night that truly this was it. If, you know, I'd put myself in a position, and if I couldn't handle it here, it was very likely that it wouldn't happen again. I had an awful lot of thoughts, emotional like I am now as well. You'd think I could handle this better after 25 years. But realistically, I just felt that today I had to do it. It was probably my last chance. Maybe not, but probably. And I'm just tickled to death.
Were you aware of how confusing a day it was, how tight things were? All the players involved, were you checking the scoreboard?
Well, you can't help but check scoreboards. They're out there. They're very visible. And you can't help but look. I've told myself 100 times, don't worry about the scoreboard. Go play your game. Use your game plan. Do what you know you can do. Things will take care of themselves. And you can't not look at the board. You look up and there's a couple birdies, and if you're not careful, you'll go shooting at a flag that you know you shouldn't shoot at. Fortunately today, I never deviated. I played exactly the way I had intended. I hit, realistically, I think I hit 2 bad golf shots all day. I played wonderful. I didn't really putt well, but I putted well enough. And I don't know what I don't know what I can say.
Ray, if I'm not mistaken, in 1964, when Ken Venturi won the U.S. Open at Congressional, you were there and you had quite an emotional day. What was that like in comparison to this?
Well, I don't think it's the same right now. In fact, in 1964, I took Venturi's ball out of the hole after he had holed out to win the tournament, and I had tears in my eyes, and it broke him up. So I guess I'm the emotional player.
What types of emotions are there now? There must be tremendous satisfaction. There must be tremendous relief. What else? What else is going through your mind?
Well, I haven't really, Al, I just signed my scorecard, and I've just sat down here with you. I haven't really had time to think about it because I never did let my mind wander on the golf course. One thing I would be very remiss if I don't say right here, I've got two sons that just left yesterday and went to camp, and I know they're both watching, and I'd like to say hello to both my boys. And I know they wish they were here, but I know they're proud. But I haven't had a chance, you know, looking down the road, I don't think I'll change my playing schedule any. I intend to play a full complement this year in this country. I'll play the British Open. I will have a lot of zest and zeal when I go there. I've always had goals, and one of them was to win the United States Open. Another one of my goals was to win the British Open. Fortunately, if things look like I have won this tournament, so of the four majors, I'm only lacking the British Open, so I'm going to go there with good intentions and hope that I can fare well there as well.
You know, your two sons would also say Happy Father's Day with a very, very special gleam in their eyes. Raymond, what about this special year for the older generation? It seems to have continued, definitely today. I know you're very happy about that. We're going to go back out to the remaining golf, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, isn't that nice, eh? Nice to see an old softy. Too many around these days. Great play. Raymond Floyd. I don't think anyone can catch him now, even if they hold their second shots up the 18th fairway. Here's young Bob Tway, who will have learnt a lot today. He found himself in a couple of positions, hanging lies, down in bunkers. Totally unfamiliar, but that's this sort of course. This is what he's going to expect. He's going to come and play in the British Open, the Australian Masters Open. He's got to look for funny places to find the ball, and I think here we have a young man who might well cope. But like so many before, he's gone to the back of this final hole, leaving him a very awkward shot back. And the final seas here. And as the players make their way up, here is the alphabetical scores. Have a look at your old favourites. Seve Ballesteros, 9 over. Remember, par here is 280, so 9 over, 289. Ben Crenshaw, 283. T.C. Chen, who so nearly won last year, 17 over par. 297. Ray Floyd, the winner. David Frost, the left side up, and David Graham, the former champion, 288. Applause there. Master of the game. Who visits Europe, so Barry Jekyll, an old friend of European golf as well. Tom Kite, one of the steadiest of them all. Bernard Langer had a good championship, 4 over par, that's an average of 71. Pretty good playing. Sandy Lyle never really got firing, 13 over, tied with Johnny Miller. Mark McNulty didn't have a good day today, but played some pretty good golf. Peter Oosterhuis, an old faithful, 24 over. Greg Norman, 5 over with 1 to play. Amateur champion Sam Randolph, 11 over. That's pretty good. And the last pays it. Craig Sadler came back into it today, finished 288. That's level 72s, you know, that's not too bad. Lanny Watkins, a brilliant round today of 65. There were 3 65s today. Lanny Watkins, Chip Beck, and Mark Calcareccia. So 65 has been the best score here this week, 5 under par. So Shinnecock, and all connected with it, can be very proud of the way the course has stood up. Chipped it at the last hole. 3 under par. Well, we opened up with a foul day, and then we've had second day was pretty nice, and then we've had 2 nice sunny days. But just look at that flag, it really is whipping across the green here. 25 miles an hour, certainly the wind. But all in all, I think the championship has been, apart from all the others, the championship has been a winner too. A very bold step to bring it here, way out on Long Island, to an old course. The old course has stood up well, and the players have nothing but praise for it. So Trevino, 3rd shot, final hole. Come on, let's finish with a saucy one. Says, I can't be bothered to look at that one. His caddy looks while the flags wave, moves in, and tells him where it is. Yeah, well. Herman has a look up at the scoreboard and thinks what might have been. Only 3 behind. And Bob Tway to finish at 283. Well, it was a bold putt. Just too bold. So he will have much to think about, this young, talented man. I'm sure he's going to be around, as Dave Marr was saying, for many more years to come. But he's going to finish, if he can hold this, at 4 over par. Equivalent to 471.
Earlier, Al Trautwig talked to him.
Excruciating, but it's something that you've been looking forward to for a long, long time.
It has been much too long. And I think, like my caddy and I were thinking, Dave Woosley, we were thinking, you know, we were meant for this. We've been striving for this, and you hope that it comes, and it's nice to have a good day finally. It really makes us feel great.
I know it's Father's Day, but it was Mom who taught Chip how to golf when he was 10 years old. Let's go back to golf.
Okay, it's recorded just a little bit earlier. We've talked so much this spring about the elder statesman of the game coming on, Jack Nicklaus being the oldest winner of the Masters, Bill Shoemaker winning the Derby, the septuagenarian owners of Snow Chief who won the Preakness, Woody Stevens, the winning trainer in the Belmont at age 73. One more man should be mentioned, I think, too, who had his greatest satisfaction in sport in the last 2 weeks of his life. That was Jim Truman, an old schoolmate of Jack Nicklaus, by the way, who had the winning car at Indianapolis and passed on a matter of days later. Now Ray Floyd, of course, has become the oldest winner of the Open. Al Sutton should have many more years ahead of him for his chance. Just to move into a tie for second. And that will bring him in at 2 over par for the championship. Al Sutton started the day 1 over, so had a round of 71 after earlier rounds of 75, 70, and 66 yesterday. Well, there was the shoe after he won the Derby at age 54, and later when we talked to him, there's Ray Floyd, oldest winner of the Open now. There's Woody Stevens after he won his 5th consecutive Belmont. I doubt that anyone in all time will equal that record. Hard enough to get 5 horses running in a row in the Belmont. Ray Floyd. We talked to Bill Shoemaker later and asked him if he ever wished he'd been born taller. He said, yeah, I wanted to be 5'10" and 180 and be Jack Nicklaus and be a great golfer. That was his ambition. Okay, now, Norman trying to wrap it up with one more birdie to get down to 4 over. He would be in a tie with Jack Nicklaus, with Longer, 12. Gave it an effort. But it'll be 5 over a round of 75. After rounds of 71, 68, and 71. Yes? Okay, we're back again at Shinnecock Hills, and there's the final result of the 86 United States Open Golf Championship. Ray Floyd, the oldest winner at age 43 in almost 10 months. 2 strokes over Lanny Watkins and Chip Beck, both of whom shot 65 today. Jack Nicklaus had a fine round, not good enough quite. Finished at 4 over with Longer and Bob Tway. We're going to have a look at Ray Floyd's birdie putt on the 11th hole today. A sizable one, as you see. Went on to birdie 13 and then made a very crucial, as Dave pointed out, par putt at 14.
Snakes don't bother that.
A while ago. Now on 16. Another birdie try. This was the one to take the 2-stroke lead. And on from there to par in and win the U.S. Open. His 22nd attempt. Jack, congratulations on a fine tournament.
Thank you, Jim, but I think congratulations obviously go to Ray Floyd. I think I've never seen Ray so emotional. Ray's been a good friend for a long time, and he's been there many times, but never in the U.S. Open, and I'm really happy for he and Maria.
I think everybody is. I take it your life's ambition was never to be the winning jockey in the Derby.
Never quite that size.
Okay, great to have you with us this weekend, Jack. We're looking forward to the future.
Thank you, Jim.
Dave, final comment from you.
Well, I just think Raymond and Maria tonight will have moment of reflection about how long a path has been, how much that lady has meant to him. His career really took an upswing after he and Maria got married, and he's quite a different guy and quite a different player, and I can tell you, I couldn't be happier if anybody else won. Raymond Floyd, congratulations, that's terrific.
Where would you rank this one in the Opens you've seen?
Well, it's one of the great ones. I think the most, well, there's been a couple of emotional ones, but the man over here on my left,
1980.
he won in 1980, and I'm walking back to the trucks after the show, and they're yelling, Jack is back, Jack is back. I had to stop, and I still get chills thinking about that, and I know he does a little bit too, or he wouldn't be human. I could see him getting chills at Augusta this year.
Didn't we all? So, as we say, it's been certainly one of the finest that we've seen since we started doing the United States Open back in 1966. A final